views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, information, or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
I got to grab this and say, okay. Okay, there we go. All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions. And I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is February the 16th, 2023. And I want to invite you to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. And on there, you will find the 3-point plan to Black empowerment and financial freedom. It has 3 points. The first point is to get together with like-minded people. The next point is to stop all unnecessary spending and save your money. The third point is, as a unit, invest or save your money in a verified and trusted institution. A great goal would be for you to open a Black-owned business. And right above the 3-point plan, you have link to African-American-owned banks and credit unions. We could all start moving our money to these institutions to start practicing group economics today, and check out the rest of the links and articles on the website. That's exactly where we will be getting our news stories from tonight. You can follow along on the website, and that's TalkRealSolutions.com, TalkRealSolutions.com, or you can follow along on YouTube or Facebook as I post the links. And if you want to join in the conversation, all you have to do is dial the number in the description box at 717-908-1834. And I will definitely get you on the line here and allow you to say your piece. Y'all know me, I allow all communications, and I try to provide accurate, correct information and talk about current events or news events or world events or politics. Either way, I try to make it a conversation for your entertainment. What's up, East Coast? And hopefully I'll get to entertain you tonight. You guys participate, and we do like we always do. So, without further ado, I believe I will touch on Miss Nikki Haley, of the former governor of South Carolina, first. This woman is running for president. She will never be president. And I told you guys before, all these candidates that get into the race, that's just a money grab. They know that they're going to get donations and campaign contributions, and it's just adding to their coffers. So they just run for office knowing that they're not going to win in order to get money. Nikki Haley don't have a chance in hell of winning this political race, but it's entertaining. And I will sit back and I will watch the disaster of the Republican Party like I always do. Then you got the racists. Well, all of them racist, including Haley. Uh, DeSantis, he's running a close second to Donald Trump, which I don't think that guy will make it on a national stage. And of course, you got Donald Trump, and you got some other candidates out there that has not announced yet. Supposedly, Mike Pence is going to get in the race. And on the other side, we got Joe Biden. Listen, the Democrats need to do something because you can't keep running this old man. And there's nothing wrong with Joe Biden. He actually putting in work. He putting in work. He making things happen. Getting some things done for the country. And I know when I'm talking to black people, the conversation always goes straight towards what have he done for black people? So I mean, you have to deal with that on your own. But I was just talking about as far as being a politician and running the country and governing in such a way that the American people somehow benefit. I know on the internet, we get stuck in our corners and we start, using this tribal language. But I like to talk about politics in a general sense on how it affects us, and in a particular sense, in a specific sense when you talk about how it affects Black America too, because that is important. I'm not blowing it off because it is, and that's why I call out these people as racist, because that's what they are. That there's not even a chance that don't even exist now on both sides. There's racists throughout this country, Democrats and Republicans. The Democrats is more secretive with theirs, and they're not as blatant as the Republicans are. But you can see whenever you look at the Democrats and kind of who they uplift and who they support. They don't go to the ghettos. They don't go to the the red line districts, if you will, and try and uplift those communities. That's just not what's done. The Democrats are basically in bed with the corporations, and that's where the money is spent. It's not spent on our community. We had another mass shooting in this country, which y'all heard me say it before. There's too many guns in this country. There's way too many guns in this country. And now you have to say that America accepts this violence amongst its own citizens. I don't know what the underlying meaning of that is, but it is an acceptance. They're not trying to regulate against it. You can basically say that they allow it. Damn what they say when they get on TV. Later for what they say about how terrible it is. And later for the finger pointing and saying the other side won't move or won't budge. Later for all of that. America is allowing this carnage in our children's schools. They're allowing it on our streets. They're allowing it in our neighborhoods, and they're not doing anything about it. So the best thing that you can do is probably just be careful and be wary of where you're at in this country these days, because it's possible somebody may pull out a weapon and just start popping off guns. Now, I mean, this last shooter at the school was an African American gentleman, and they got his face plastered all over the news. And I don't know what his motivations was. I didn't even dig into that story, because it's kind of like you get tired of it. You get tired of hearing about children dying, the young dying at such a vulnerable time. Whenever we was going to school, we didn't worry about going to the classroom and somebody pulling out a gun. The the most excitement we had was at lunchtime when somebody got in a fight. Everybody started screaming, "Fight, fight, fight," and run out toward the fight. Somebody might walk away with a busted lip or a bloody nose, but that was it. It won't none of this buying weapons, gathering ammo, secretly and cowardly sneaking up on a school where defenseless people are at and just shooting people. This is a result of the mentality of the Republican Party and the NRA. This is what it is. These guys that screaming Second Amendment, that's who's to blame for this. The people like Sarge that say you ain't gonna take my guns. You are to blame for these mass shootings, these school shootings, these murders. You're to blame. Because you can't have a reasonable, logical conversation about access to weapons in this country, the type of weapons that we have, right? Over militarizing the police force. You can't have a logical conversation about so many weapons in this country. It's so many weapons in this country that people, anybody can just order one offline, go into a pawn shop, order ammo, and in secret just show up at a place and kill masses of people in this country. That's the time we live in. We live in that time right now. To where you really need to be careful when you walk out of your house. I don't care how nice your neighborhood is, because we've seen the proof that it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter where. You can be in a church. You can be in a synagogue. You can be on a playground. You can be in a college. Hell, they even shot up a Christmas Day parade. You can be at a concert. It doesn't matter where you're at in society nowadays, because the Republicans and the weak-ass Democrats aren't doing anything about access to weapons in this country. We have the number one leading cause of death for children is gun violence. I pulled that stat up for you at the CDC and showed you that that's the leading cause of death for children. It's a shame that we can't have rational conversations enough as adults to where we can make a difference. To where we can make a difference with this violence. You know. But that's where we're at. Now, y'all know that I try not to get into the social media drama, right? Y'all know that. That's not my thing. But an event happened. An event happened between two social media personalities that I'm going to discuss a little bit. Y'all know we talk about Tariq Nasheed over here a little bit. And we talk about how the Black conscious community just follow behind all of these grifters, if you will. And two guys on social media, I put up a video on this channel of Tariq Nasheed and Tahanka Bey actually meeting up and I'm going to say going at each other or having a disagreement, or however you want to call it. This is what they did. And it's on video, you know, and here's the video here of these guys. Where's my screen go? I think it's on screen. Yeah, here's the video here of these guys actually meeting up and having a conflict live on camera for social media for the whole world to see. It is ridiculous, guys. And I'm going to give you my opinion on this whole scenario, right? Because it's ridiculous. And it kind of confirms what I've been saying about these people on social media, right? You got Tariq Nasheed, right? You got this guy. Now, This guy is the creator or the person that came up with foundational Black Americans, right? And that was in opposition to the ADOS movement, right? When Tariq Nasheed and Yvette Cornell had a disagreement because they was on the same page at one point in time in history about reparations and having a movement and, you know, having people follow them and donate to them and all that kind of stuff. So they was on the same page. And the other guy, Antoine or whatever his name is, they was on the same page about reparations. And then somehow or another, you know, Black people do what we do. And they had an argument. I don't even know the details of it. And they separated and they started going back and forth with each other on social media. So that's when Tariq Nasheed had this bright idea to come up with the foundational Black American movement. Now, the guy that he was talking to, the guy that he got in conflict with is named Tahanka Bey. Tahanka Bey, his whole purpose on social media, this guy, I don't want to make it no bad picture of him. Let me give me a good picture. No, there ain't no good. There we go. I don't know. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing, man, But Tahanka Bey, this guy, his whole purpose was calling out the grifters on social media, right? I'll see if I can go to his channel. Calling out the grifters on social media. That's his channel there. That's Moorish World TV. That's his channel. So he got all these videos, and I support what he's doing. I really do. I really do support that he's calling out people on social media that is trying to scam Black people and all that kind of stuff. So I get it, you know, and he's a Moor, obviously, because of the feds, and his channel is Moorish World TV. And you see all the symbolism there for the Moors. You know, I don't do that religious shit, so it is what it is with that. But his whole thing about trying to warn Black people to be careful about social media people, I get that because I do that a lot over here. Y'all hear me all the time calling out people for listening to these people. Y'all know I started back in the day with Brother Polite, Sonetta, Umar Johnson, all of those people. I was just telling people, hey, you need to be careful because that don't sound right. That does not sound right, and y'all just don't need to just follow anything, okay? And that's what I was trying to warn people, but y'all know how people are. What you doing for the Black community? They doing more than you. Or, you know, you just hating on him. You just trying to tear another Black man down. That was ABC bitch ass argument. You just trying to tear a Black man down. No, nigga. What I'm trying to do is tell you as an adult, you probably shouldn't be repeating these con artists, these conspiracy theorists, and promoting that amongst our community. What we need to concentrate on is elevating our education about how this society is oppressing us, and not get stuck on charisma and rhetoric and wishful thinking. You see what I'm saying? So I was warning people, look, you got to stop that shit. You know, just like back in the day with David Carroll and Tommy Sotomayor, people were saying that, you know, because these guys were saying that Black women is the problem with the community, that's what people started to repeat. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for the woman, that's what people started repeating. I'm like, hey, come on, guys. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Just because this guy's saying this, now you have to repeat it? What about standing on your own 2 feet? That's always been my mentality. So as time go along, you get different evolutions and tentacles of these men on social media. You know, it's spawned into the manosphere. It's spawned into the Pan-Africanism stuff, the the Moorish stuff, the Hebrew Israelites, it's just all kinds of black conscious on the social media, right? And I'm telling you guys, y'all need to, even the black Christians, the ancient Egyptians, hell, you got tarot card readers and crystal readers. I don't know, but because these people, and I give these people credit because they are so charismatic, they know how to turn on that camera, they know how to speak well, they know how to engage an audience, and their charisma actually have people going forward making their arguments in public. That's what people would come over here do and say, well, Boyce Watkins said this, or Umar Johnson said this, or Sarnetta said this, or Sarah Sutton said he said this. And I'm like, I don't want to hear from these. Young Pharaoh said this. I don't want to hear about what these fucking con artists say. If you're going to have a conversation with me, I'm not going to argue with you on the basis of a fucking fraud. I'm just not going to do that. Boyce Watkins, he got exposed. Let me see if it's still on social media. Boyce Watkins got exposed for working for this Asian man named Charles Wu. Since I can Google on in live time. Charles Wu? Watch it not come up, or they done took it down. Oh, look at look, see, he got his fingers up because somebody exposed him with this Charles Wu guy, right? This is Charles Wu here. And Charles Wu was telling the people, yeah, that's him trying to cover, trying to convince the people that Charles Wu wasn't controlling him. But listen, to make a long story short, Charles Wu was this marketing guy or something, right? And he markets and he makes money off of marketing and creating products out of thin air and all that kind of bullshit, right? These online programs, these online trainings. So what they did was they looked at Boyce Watkins because he had a degree and because he had some popularity, and they looked at him as somebody that could actually be a way into the black community, the black conscious community niche. And so they told Boyce Watkins, look, you play these people up and we'll financially support you. I don't know what they were saying in the background. And he actually was having a conference with another guy on another platform explaining the whole fucking Rick and Monroe. I got the video. I might post it for you guys. And Boyce Watkins was right at the tail end of that thing, and he was getting controlled by Charles Wu. And Charles Wu was telling this guy how Boyce Watkins is playing on the black community's hope, how he's playing on the black community's opposition to the white man, and all of this kind of stuff. And Boyce Watkins would just like a damn trained dog just go out and do what Charles Wu said. And black people were falling for it. And they still fall for it, And at this point in time, over 5-6 years, if y'all don't see it now, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. But this was one of the scams, and this is one of the scammers that's on social media. Umar Johnson was another scammer that's on social media. Once he's seen that he got that popularity from a whole bunch of people, a lot of views, a lot of subscribers, getting AdSense money, getting donations and all that kind of stuff, they're not going to stop. They are not going to stop. You get what I'm saying? So you just keep going on with these different iterations of black men on social media that has charisma, that can speak into a microphone, get people to listen to their videos, give them donations, and then get AdSense money, and that's their job. Advice Show, Phil Scott, that's another one. But Phil Scott I ain't gonna put him in the same category with these guys, because Phil Scott is actually trying to turn it into a business, but he's doing what he need to do to pander toward the black community, get the black community support, and then you get donations and get AdSense money and make it on social media. So they made it a gig. So I get that, right? But this guy, Tariq Nasheed, did some of the same stuff that I was just telling you about, but he did it with the Foundation of Black America. And then this guy, Tahanka Bey, was calling him out, and they got into this controversy back and forth. You can see all the videos that he got about Tariq Nasheed and other people on his channel, right? And I don't follow these guys, but somehow or another, it worked up into where Tahanka Bay went to where Tariq Nasheed is at this museum that Tariq Nasheed is building, and they met up. And that's this video that you see right here, where Tariq Nasheed said that this is him in Tahanka Bay, and it looks like right here, Tahanka Bay is backing up, Tariq Nasheed is walking for him, and somewhere in that frame there, it looked like Tariq Nasheed hit that man. Now, I don't know because it's all blurry, but I see a quick head movement, I see a hand swing, and I see a recoil, and then he starts coming back towards him like, hey, I'm going to fix what you just did to me. And that's what I see. So if you look at it in full motion, you'll see that this guy's walking towards him and something happens there. And then now he recoils and goes back towards him. And this is where you see him getting in his car and leaving that location. Right? And then after that, because I want to give two sides of the story, we fair and balanced over here. This guy made a video. And that's the one that I was trying to show you earlier, where he was giving the response to what happened at the event. Now he say that Tariq Nasheed didn't touch him, he just ducked out of the way, and Tariq got long arms and he swung at him, but he missed him and all that kind of stuff, right? So you got two sides of the story, very grainy video, and you can make up your own mind. Like I said earlier, I don't take any of these guys' sides, but I'm getting ready to call both of these motherfuckers out here in a minute. I just want to lay the groundwork for what we're looking at here. What we're looking at is the same shit that I told ABC about when it comes to the Black conscious community, when it comes to Umar Johnson, when it comes to Tariq Nasheed, when it comes to Boyce Watkins, Young Pharaoh, all of these Black conscious motherfuckers that's on social media. All they want is to grift. This guy in this video right here, what he said is, I got my own video, but in order for you to see my version of the video, you got to come to my website and pay me, and I show you my version of the video. What? Because their mind is on making money off of the Black community. That's what it is. You can look at any of these lives, and I'm not talking down to you guys about you donate to whoever the fuck you want to. You're an idiot. But give your money to whoever the fuck you want to. But I'm just, if somebody want to get called out, let's call these guys out, because this is a grifter also, right? But his grift is calling out the grifters and getting sympathy from the Black community. So you got to pay him to call out the grifters. And when I started watching him, it was when Brother Polite, that's another fucking grifter. All of them get exposed eventually, right? That's another grifter. When I started watching him, it was Brother Polite went to, got caught up in that thing down there with the allegedly child molestation or whatever the crap at the hotel. And he started making videos, and other people on the internet started making videos. But like, Tasha K and all these, he was putting out documents and court documents and all that kind of stuff. And it was good entertainment, I won't want to pay him to see these fucking documents because, it is what it is. But, he'll put stuff on his website. And then let me tell you what this guy did one time, right? See, I'm probably trying to get in some dirt right now, but I don't give a fuck. Okay, so, Sonetta TV. He has a wife named whatever her name is. I don't know what her name is. But he has an internet wife too. And her name is Nepal, right? And Nepal, somehow or another, hooked up with Sonetta. And the reason that I'm saying that, and they come on and they do live stream together, right? But what this guy did was got a hold of Nepal's videos where she was nude or twerking or something. And he did a whole live stream about Sonetta's girlfriend twerking nude on the internet. And what he would do on his live stream was he would show you her dancing but he would have it blurred out or part of the picture and all that kind of stuff. And then he would say, guess what? If you want to see the full video unedited, pay this fee to my website and I'll show you this lady on the internet butt naked. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? And I assume people was paying his website to see Sarnetta's internet girlfriend dance on the video naked. I don't know, but that's what he was charging, and that was after the polite thing. And I was like, this guy's out of control. That was a grift, guys. It was a grift. It was a way for him to make money off of that lady that obviously exposed herself on the internet. And I ain't got no problem with that. If you want to go naked on the internet, you do whatever you want to do. It is what it is. That's your business. But when these guys develop these platforms and say things like, you know, I'm trying to help the black people out and all that kind of stuff, there's an underlying thing behind it. And that's, y'all notice me a while back. That's what I used to say all the time, is that, you know, I used to say the black community and this ain't good for the black community and all that kind of stuff. And what people started interpreting that as is that somehow or another Tyrone was going to fix the black community, which is impossible to do. So I kind of dialed back that language. I ain't saying that I don't care, but I don't want to put myself in a position to where, you know, people looking at me as the fixer. And that's how these guys do. They'll offer you something, right? And it's supposed to be for the black community, whether it's a school, whether it's the foundational Black American movement, whether it's ADOS, whether it's Boyce Watkins Financial Institution, or you know, Sonetta, them, they offering you knowledge on ancient Egypt. They'll offer you something for the black community. Then they will put out the collection plate and tell you to pay for this information. They'll offer you something. Sonetta and them was getting paid off of debates. You know, I don't know why the fuck people would pay to watch two dumbass niggas on the internet argue about religion, but they did. they made their money off of that shit, you know, and it is what it is. I believe Black Jesus Minister was tied up in that shit. You know, somehow or another, this is what they do. And I'm saying all this to say is that this is an example of what I have been complaining about black men on social media for years. These guys are parents, they're family members, they're black men representation, and they met up in the streets on the internet looking like complete idiots, and they're fighting each other. Now wait, I want you to hold up for a minute, because in this country, I only know one oppressor. Hold up for a minute. In this country, I only know one race of people that got their boots on our fucking necks. And these guys don't recognize that they're fighting their own fucking brother. Because of popularity and views and AdSense, you say, fuck the white man, fuck the police, I'm gonna kick this other brother's ass. So my followers can see me throw up these damn dukes. So I can have bragging rights. So I can get on the internet and call names.
can't hear you, Ty. Just letting you know we can't hear you, brother. We're trying to speak. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now. Just call to tell
Okay.
you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Where did I stop talking at? Where did I cut off at?
I didn't hear. I heard dead air for about 5 minutes, brother.
Yeah, because I was getting riled up now.
All right.
I don't know where I stopped at, and I apologize for the silence, for the dead air. Let me check this other line right here. Who's this unknown caller? Hello?
OC.
Hey, what's up, OC? All right. Well, yeah. Let me wrap this up right quick.
Yeah. Finish grifting.
Where did he leave off?
Finish grifting. Let him finish grifting.
Okay, the grift. Okay.
Yeah, but that's where.
Hold on. We're gonna let Tyrone finish grifting.
No, that's where he was. That's where he left off.
Yeah.
Because I heard space. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna let him finish. He gonna because he's talking about all the YouTubers, all the hot button YouTubers. So there's so many YouTubers he could be mentioning. He's mentioning a particular one that's driving the nigga net. So go ahead and finish grifting.
Let me finish grifting right quick. So I'm gonna put y'all on pause for a second. I'm gonna grip. See, and that's what Big OC is exactly what I'm talking about, because what he can do, what he got enough sense to do, is recognize that whenever you hear people on social media, that it all sounds the fucking same, right? It all sounds the same. So, and that's what the majority of the community hear, but one sounds better than the other, and that one sounds like you need to donate to that person. You need to support that person a little bit more. And that's what Tariq Nasheed has, because the dude is talented. I cannot take that away from that guy. That guy has a lot of talent, and I will give him that. But at the same time, you can see the grift. You can see the grift when it comes to Boyce Watkins. You can see the grip when it comes to Omar Johnson. Well, I can't anyway. There's a lot of our young folks that listen to that rhetoric, and all of a sudden you hooked. And I want to tell you why psychologically that's a thing in my opinion. Is because as humans, the way we communicate is through what? It's through voice, through language. And if you get control of that language, you know how to control that next human. That's what you hear when you hear your preacher talk. That's what you hear whenever you hear all of these speeches. They say Barack Obama was a good orator, right? They say Ronald Reagan was a good orator. All these people, when you hear them speak publicly, they grab these people, and next thing you know, you're hooked. And you're hooked so much that you want to what? Pass around that collection plate. You want to support this person. This person sounds good. But when that speech is over, whenever that sermon is over, whenever that political rally is over, you're going to get in your car or you're going to turn off that TV, and nothing is going to change in your goddamn life. And that's the same thing on social media. Whenever you hear the promises of the schools, whenever you hear the promises of the FDA, whenever you hear the promises of the reparations, whenever you hear the promises of whatever they're offering, the black consciousness, whenever you hear the ancient Egyptian bullshit, right? Whenever you hear all that stuff, whenever you turn that damn computer off, where are you stuck at besides a couple of dollars lighter from donating from something that made you feel good? And what I'm saying is these guys on social media knows how to exploit that. They know how to exploit it. And I can be honest with you, when I was on this thing 24/7, 7 days a week, more and more people listened because my presence on social media was a whole lot more, and they knew that they could depend on calling in here, listening to some BS, and just tuning into this channel. And then you was getting people just tuning in, and subscribing and all that kind of stuff, right? But whenever I pull back, you watch the decline in participation. You know, and that's where I'm at. And I'm happy where I'm at now because I don't need all that bullshit. As a matter of fact, it kind of worried me the other day because when I put up that damn balloon fucking thing, a lot of people subscribed to the damn channel. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then whenever I put up Tariq video, it was some more people subscribed. And I was like, okay, well, you know, whatever. I don't need all y'all listening to my ass. If you subscribe for the goddamn balloon or you subscribe to this bullshit Tariq shit, unfucking subscribe, niggas. I don't give a fuck. You know, I don't need that damn drama in my goddamn life. Y'all can have it, you know. But people, they follow the drama. And these guys on social media, like I said, I watched Tahanka Bay. And I watched him share with us the polite story and all that kind of stuff. And that's when it fell into the exposing Sonetta shit. And then that's when it fell into him offering you his website for a membership to see this lady naked on social media. And that's when I said, okay, that's enough for me. I can't do this guy. Because if you're here for the black community, right? If you're here for your people, that is a black woman that you're exposing in a very demeaning manner, right? I mean, you can't get no lower than that. You cannot, no matter what your rhetoric is. After that point, that's showing you how low you will stoop to try to get one up on somebody. That's somebody's family member. She put it out there, right? And it's her property. But you're not supposed to try to exploit something like that. I get the exposing the people on social media because they put up YouTube videos and their content, their subject matter is what's being questioned. It's politics. But whenever you got somebody that, I don't know, did something private for somebody and somebody shared it, actually, that's a crime. But you're not supposed to do that. And so this guy, I was like, okay, well, shit, you know, he's funny too now. I can't sit up here and say Tonka Bay ain't funny. I ain't got nothing. But this is exactly what I was trying to tell dumbass ABC years ago about these guys on social media. They ain't shit. ABC look at them as gods. As a matter of fact, these words came out of ABC's mouth. Who are we supposed to follow then? That's what the fuck that idiot said to me. If we don't follow them, who are we supposed to follow? Because they looking for a goddamn savior. They looking for a motherfucking savior. Especially that dumb nigga. I couldn't believe that as a grown-ass man, his fucking problem was whenever I call these people on the internet out, he would say, him, TJ, and Ken would say some dumb shit about who we gonna follow.
Spirituality is where we come from. That's who we is. That's what sets us apart from everybody else. We are spirits. We ain't thinking like that. We spirits.
See, this grown-ass motherfucker is looking for goddamn Jesus. He's looking for the other spirit fucking match. So he can float around or do whatever the fuck they go. I don't know what the fuck spirits do, but this is the mentality of these people's followers. They're like, once they get into a zone, once they get into that following mode, once they get into that cult-like mentality, you can't say shit bad about their fucking pastor. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. I'm going to open Big OC Live. But that's what I touched on years ago when I said the black community have left the church and they turned social media into their church. You don't have to go to that fucking building, that brick and mortar no more, and watch that one guy and Pastor Collection played around. You can sit right in your living room. you can be right on your phone and you can get that same type of fulfillment from these preachers on social media. You can get that same thing. And Gigi always calling her and she said, Tyrone, you're a pastor, you're a preacher too. But that's because I speak like I speak. And in Gigi's mindset, she's used to going to church and she's used to hearing somebody give a sermon and she relating what I do to a goddamn sermon, which is some bullshit. But, you know, that's her mentality. And that's the mentality of people on social media, is that whenever they see these fucking goddamn people on social media like Tahanka Bey, let me get this man's face off the screen, like Tahanka Bey and Tariq Nasheed and all that kind of stuff, they fucking they can't help it. They're hooked. All right, so that's them, and I'm gonna say this right here, is that, like I told you, Nikki Haley is running for president. Now, Sarge, I want you to call in and tell me, how the fuck can you support Nikki Haley as a presidential candidate when she and her parents are Indian? Well, I think she was born in America, but her parents are Indian, and she's an Indian American, and she worships, she's a Sikh, like S-I-H-K? She's a Sikh, not a Muslim, but she's a Sikh. And let me pull that up for you. I put up a video about Nikki Haley, and I'm trying to figure out how the conservatives is going to make this work. And the reason I'm asking that, since they say that America is a Christian nation, the founding fathers are Judeo-Christian. This is what they say. So whenever you're looking at this lady that wears a hijab, her husband is a devout Sikh, then how you going to square that goddamn circle as having this lady be the president of the United States of America? I want to know. I really want to know. But the funny thing is, I ain't the one that is calling this lady out, because I just put up a video where Ann Coulter lit into this lady ass. And now y'all know I hate Ann Coulter. I hate her. But Ann Coulter lit into this lady ass, and I couldn't do nothing but laugh when I heard Ann Coulter going off on Nikki Haley. So what I'm going to do before I open the lines, I'm going to share this video with you guys, or this sound with you guys, and let y'all hear Ann Coulter going off on Nikki Haley, because I don't have to say another damn word. I don't have to say shit. I don't have to say nothing, because Ann Coulter has said it for me. Listen to what I'm saying. And I'm going to try to put the video on YouTube so you guys can see it at the same time. So I got that video up, and I'm going to hit the audio.
Now, Nikki Haley, I made this whole speech yesterday. Anybody that's ever known her, worked with her, will tell you she's the most ruthless, treacherous, backstabbing snake in the world. But then all these political people are calling me and saying, what does that have to do with anything? That's perfect for politics. That's not a disqualification to run. What do you think?
That none of those words would have been the word I'd use for her. Mine is shorter and simpler. It's been
Okay.
She's an absolutely ridiculous character, and the only people say they support her are people who probably genuinely are sexist. And, oh, I support the girl. Oh, good for you. You like girls. No, she's utterly, completely, preposterously ridiculous. I don't think she will get more than 2% of the vote. And you know how I hate making predictions about things like that, but she's just a preposterous creature. But her candidacy did remind me that I need to immigrate to India so I can demand they start taking down parts of their history.
Well, you are a good...
What's with the worshiping of the cows? They're all starving over there, and they're worshiping cows. Do you know they have a rat temple where they worship rats? Hey, baby cake, why don't you go back to your own country and reconsider that history? How about Gandhi's behavior with little girls? Can we review that?
Wait a minute.
As you may know, I am referring to Nikki Haley, child of immigrants, governor of South Carolina, who immediately, after some psychopath does the mass shooting at the church, hideous. Oh, what will I do? Let's take down the Confederate flag from the South Carolina Capitol. As you know, Mark Simone, I am descended from Union soldiers. It's my history. This is my country, lady. I'm not an American Indian, and I don't like them taking down all the monuments. Well, I consider them monuments and admirable facts about Indians. I really hate that liberals have moved Indians into being, we're victims. Why do you think we name football teams after American Indians? Because they were courageous, they were tough. It's out of admiration. That's why so many Americans like Elizabeth Warren lie and claim to be Indians. But even though I'm not an American Indian, I respect them. I respect the history. It is part of my country's history.
All right, that's a good point. So, hey, but you are the best predictor, because I remember that famous Bill Maher show. It was like 2015. You were on the panel, and they said, who's going to be the next president? You said Donald Trump, and the whole audience laughed for 10 minutes that you were so preposterous. And you were the only one that was right the whole time.
Well, there's a little key to that, and thank you for reminding me. And that is, politicians will never admit it, but immigration is the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And by the way, guess who's bad on immigration? Nikki Haley.
All right. Well, that was Ann Coulter tearing into Nikki Haley. And this lady is never going to get off the starting blocks. But like I said, it's a grift too. It's a grift. Nikki Haley is in the race to make campaign financing money and all that kind of stuff. But this lady is never going to get off the starting blocks. And I don't have anything to do with how she worship or who she worship or all that kind of stuff, right? But the lady is a damn sheep. She's a Indian. I guess that's a part of the Hindu customs and all that kind of stuff. And her God is not the same God in the damn Bible. They do have a monotheistic belief with one God, right? But it's not the same God in the Bible. So how are the right wings with this Judeo-Christian fucking origin? How are they gonna square that goddamn circle with Nikki Haley? You know, are you telling me you America is going to allow this person with Indian heritage and different religion to be the president of the United States of America? I thought that was a test for Barack Obama. Even though that Reverend Jeremiah Wright is a damn Christian, and he said, "God damn America," and the chickens are coming home to roost in the pulpit like a damn black preacher do. If you ever went to a black church, Jeremiah Wright was right on point. But that was too radical for the right-wing evangelicals in this country. A American preacher, a black American preacher, that was too radical. So now you're going to accept this person with a whole nother fucking different theology? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's going to be fun to watch, though. But let me open these lines and one more thing. Nikki Haley, with her fucking stupid ass, said that America is not a racist country. She said America is not a racist country. She has got to be that's the reason I played that, is because it was to counter her speech about America not being a racist country. Now, the left didn't even have to come out and explain to Nikki Haley that, okay, well, you're full of shit. Because America is a racist country. Somebody on the right came out immediately and started displaying racism towards Nikki Haley. Now, Nikki Haley, you and Tim Scott and Kamala Harris and whoever the fuck else say that America is not a damn racist country, explain Ann Coulter. Because every damn thing she said was racist. From the damn worshiping of rats temples to the damn cows, because that's a religious emblem in India to y'all little savior prophet over there, Gandhi. Everything. She even said, carry your ass back to your country. Now, you can't get no more racist than what Ann Coulter just displayed to us. And your dumb ass, to pander towards these white racist people, you gonna stand up there and say America is not a racist country because you want to win the hearts and minds of fucking racists. Who the hell do you think? I mean, I know who's listening to you. People like Sarge and ABC is listening to you, and they believe your ass, but ain't nobody buying that bullshit where you say America is not a racist country. Let me see if she's saying it on here.
And take it from me, the first minority female governor in history, America is not a racist country.
See, it was that shit at her campaign rally. And she went on and started talking about woke and how her campaign is against African Americans, guys. So she ain't going no goddamn well. She ain't going no damn well. This racist ass piece of shit, and she confused. She's a damn Indian coon. That's what the hell she is. She's a damn Indian coon. So I'm gonna shut up now. I better not be saying that word too much, huh? I talked about a lot of stuff. I talked about Tahanka Bay. I talked about Nikki Haley. And I talked about these guys on social media. Since Big OC is a fan of these guys, he felt some type of way about these guys on social media. I know it hurts you, Big OC.
Oh, man, you go with your bullshit.
Huh? I mean, you had to speak out on that, though.
No. I was just, contrasting, what you were doing, compared to what you were talking about. That's all. Just, what do white folks call that? Tongue in cheek. Since you were talking about grifting, I thought that I would say you were grifting.
This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com. There are 6 participants in the conference. Q&A session has started. The recording has started. Muted.
TV subscriptions are down. The regular cable people are just watching YouTube and watching, Instagram reels and shit like that. So everybody knows they got a chance to maybe be a star or get their 15 minutes, right? And it depends on how far you want to go. Depends on how far you want to go. You can get your 15 minutes of fame, whether you do something crazy, or however it may be. But it just seems like there's so many opportunities to get views and just to get, recognized by somebody else. And at the end of the day, I believe the person who chooses to go ahead and get a channel, especially one that's talking about controversial things, nowadays you have to be prepared. What's the word they use to get doxxed? Is that the word they use? Yeah. You gotta assume that that's coming. So whatever. For anybody that's out there finna start a YouTube page and show their face and talk shit or speak against popular belief or go against a particular group, I would say try to wipe your social medias clean, shut them down before you start up this new venture. Take all the pictures of your family down, because niggas on the internet are crazy, man. Or just people on the internet are crazy. I've seen a lot of shit to where I can't believe some people even want to come on and start a channel. You know what I'm saying? Because in real life, we understand that when niggas get into arguments, that shit could lead to gunfire, could lead to a real fight, right? And some of these conversations on these lines sometimes they're going there now. It seems like it's even more, even with all these new I can't say it's necessarily YouTube, but I'd say some other social media platforms. Motherfuckers are just, getting threatened. You know what I'm saying? And getting told to pull up.
Well, because see, what you saying, man, I believe that they got this mentality. Okay, so like a regular, so take social media out of it. A regular actor or celebrity or athlete, right? They know once they cross a certain line, they have this public life. And they are willing to risk whatever their personal lifestyle is to have this celebrity, right? So, and if they make a song or a rap or whatever, they know they're going to be in public and they got certain stuff exposing their risk. So if you just take that mentality and you put it on the social media influencer, they develop that mentality too, right? Because not only are they becoming a celebrity, they're telling themselves it's worth it because I'm getting paid. Look at Tahanka Bey and Tariq Nasheed, right? These guys, he was able to fly his whole family out to wherever across country off of social media money. Tariq Nasheed is able to get a piece of property and do whatever he's doing off of social media money. So it's worth it to them for this being exposed for the money. Oh hell, I know Phil Scott at Vancho. He's been flying to Africa, doing all kinds of shit. Kevin Samuels, they make money. Umar Johnson, they make money on this thing. So it's worth it to them for this expose. But for somebody like me that really want to keep my personal stuff, close to the heart, it ain't worth it to me. I don't want to do that shit. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, You have a category of YouTubers that think that they can get to where celebrities are, right? For example, I told myself, man, you want to start a channel and really discuss something that you feel like you're an expert in sometimes, right? That you can carry on a conversation about and have access to certain things that you can bring to the community that everybody may not see all the time, right? But that may not be something that you want to be known for, right? Publicly. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like I was telling my wife, I said, if I was to start a channel and do it on something that I know, I'd have to do it about weed, right? Overall, how life living with marijuana, you know what I'm saying? And just all the different things and stories that I know I could come up with and places I know I can go and people I know I can interview.
Unmuted.
But what about the kids? Your friends, people gonna see you. But I said, see that world of celebrities. That's me. That celebrity world is, well, your friends really don't see you. It's all these other people. Your friends know who you are, so you don't really worry about them. It's everybody else that's really viewing you, so you can kind of try to get into that space where you're going to remain in character regardless, right, of what's going on. And I said, well, and do I want to be known for that? And I told myself, well, what if one day I want to have to go out there and get a job from somewhere and somebody happens to bring up my shit and say, oh, I know this dude, and all he does is smoke dope, right? And something fucks around. And those are the things I was thinking about, right? We're dealing with this internet and that. But then I said, well, what if somebody gave me a contract for $5 million to do it? And then I said, would it matter then? I said, will people then look at me different? Will I still be a pothead?
You wouldn't care. You wouldn't care. Listen, for $5 million, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care.
And would people care as much then?
It wouldn't matter. None of that would matter.
Right, but I think it wouldn't matter to people either. And I bring up people like Snoop Dogg. At the same time, they tell you Snoop Dogg is a little league football coach. The second sentence, they'll tell you how he smokes all weed 100 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't matter anymore. He's at a place where, oh yeah, he's a weed head, but it doesn't matter because he's Snoop, and the money that he has really in everybody's eyes seems over because he can be with the president. I'm like, so it must really not matter because that same person can end up at the table with heads of state and shit. I'm like, how the fuck does Snoop end up at the White House doing what? So my thing is it's like I see it as it could be a stigma, but then again, does the money change that?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're not making a lot of money and people can poke at you, then right. Just like Cardi B is a perfect example. So Cardi B done seen every walk of life there is. She was a stripper, she was sleeping in the streets and all that kind of stuff, right? And she even tell that story on the internet years ago about how, people was talking about her teeth, how she was all ugly and all this kind of crap, right? And then she made money, and now none of that shit that bothered her before don't even matter. It don't matter to her. They can call her names, they can call her a stripper, they can call her whatever they want to, but that don't matter no more,
Right, but see, it's just something about celebrity that makes people's minds go into a whole nother category. You know what I'm saying?
They look at that struggle as part of the plight to get where they got. That's part of their story now. I had to sleep in my car. I had to do this. I had to strip. I had to blah, blah, blah. Tyler Perry is another one. He had to sleep in his car. We hear that story all the time. But now if you turn around and look behind him, it was worth it. So maybe these guys on social media is looking at that first part of the struggle of getting exposed and going out fighting each other. Maybe they look at that as a lot of
it's a lot too of everybody wanting to be on TV. You know what I'm saying? You look at how. Let me tell you how Sonetta gets over on food. He brings on people that you wouldn't expect. You look at some of these people that pop up on his channel, and you be like, okay, y'all are just regular people. You ain't trying to get yourself prepared to be on this screen in front of possibly thousands of people. You just, you showing your house. It might be raggedy. You don't care. But he's still giving you a platform. And that alone, some people will pay him to be on his platform just to be there amongst where they believe a lot of black people and a lot of people are congregating just to be one of those people. And you should see how the ones who believe that they're really, in there operate. And I crack up. And you mentioned Black Jesus Minister earlier. He acts a fucking fool over there.
Yeah,
and it's a trip. You know what I'm saying? How or what people will accept, because I'm looking at Sonetta like, man, sometimes you bring serious people, on this platform, and these are people that got credentials that can be verified, whatnot. But then you have them speaking to somebody like Black Jesus Minister, who just be like acting like a fucking clown, man. Like you already know, but he's doing that. Now, like somebody's really gonna follow some shit he's talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, niggas on the internet, this is the shit they keep showing us. It's like we're looking for more, but this shit keeps popping up, and like just like anything. The radio, if you listen to the radio, you're going to wonder why you know certain songs. And it's just, they put that shit in your head, and you just keep seeing it and seeing it and seeing it, and you just get used to it. You get used to hearing the voice, then shit begins to be okay. And it's like you said, you were on 7 days a week. Like I told you, if you would have just started being Republican and going with Trump, no telling where you'd be right now. Yeah.
That would have worked out.
Right now. You probably would have been on Candace Owens' show by now. You would have made your rounds. You the major rounds and collected all your fees and may have been at CPAC and all that shit.
You know what? I look at this tribalism, and if you look at a monarchy, that's kind of the best way I can describe this tribalism mentality. And everybody got them at different levels. Whenever it comes to these social media influencers, you got your kings, and then you got the people that's below them, the dukes and the lords, and then it goes on down to the serfs and the peasants. So everybody's got on their own little level when it comes to these tribes. And people know their place whenever it comes to this tribal mentality. And like ABC, for instance, he's a goddamn peasant. Sarge is a goddamn peasant. And he got to work his way up the hierarchy before he get to the royal level. And they don't mind being down there in that peasant level, because they know what their job is. Their job is to support whoever's in charge. Their job is to repeat whatever they say. And that's what you look at when you look at all these people supporting these people. Their mentality just, they can't see past that structure, and they know that there's a place for them. And I blame that mindset on religion, but I ain't even gonna go into all of that. But that's just the way our society is structured, man. And Tariq and Umar and all them people, they know that, and that's what they play off of when they're using people, you know. They know that there's a certain amount of people that's going to be at that level, and that amount of people is who they're trying to reach. They ain't trying to reach the people that's already. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to talk to you. Right. They don't want to talk to nobody with common sense, you know. But they want to talk to somebody that's looking for something, you know. And everybody's looking for something. Yeah. The majority of us is. Just like I'm picking on ABC because I see him in the chat room, but I use ABC because he's an easy target. You can see that guy shift from believing 9/11 conspiracies, and then he believed the chemtrail stuff, and then he came into the COVID, and then he fell for the damn election fraud shit. So him and SARS do the same thing. They had that peasant mentality to where they don't realize that they're strings are being pulled like puppets, you know. Oh yeah, and ABC was all on that Alex Jones, Bilderberg, and all that kind of bullshit too. It's just crazy how these people just go from
FEMA camps and all that shit. Secret societies and
just like I guarantee you that that group of people that we talking about right now, I guarantee you that they have some type of conspiracies about these fucking balloons flying over the United States of America. I don't know what it is, but because it's something different and the leadership is saying all this shit, these guys have got conspiracies about something. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you they do. All right. Well, Mr. Lisa, your line is open. Welcome to the show. Or Jay, you got something to say?
No, I was just going to say real quick for this woman that's running, I'll say...
Nikki Haley.
Yeah, Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley is treading water. She's trying to play tippy-toe around Donald Trump, try to get that base, but not try to stir up anything. I think that she's not going to get the nominee. And I think she's contradict herself. I mean, we've seen her, one day she was saying stuff. They put out video on her in the past talking about all the stuff against Donald Trump. Then she wasn't. It's the same pattern as a lot of these people. So, again, I don't think she's going to get the nominee. I think it's more of I wishful thinking for her if Donald Trump gets a position VP, but that ain't going nowhere. That's what somebody suggested. But anyway, Nikki Haley, she ain't going nowhere. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
Hey, real quick, Tyrone, real quick. I think what happens is with these people that are running, especially the ones that got the most name recognition, understand that if they get enough people behind them, then they have value when it comes down to getting cabinet positions or being in certain places. So I think Nikki Haley is just making sure that she can win her fucking state. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be able to at least have my state behind me to be able to move on around other places. And I think that's what she's doing. Who knows how many fucking Republicans are gonna jump out there? But she's just trying to make sure she has somewhat of breaking down some of that percentage. You know, Trump's gonna have whatever fucking 40 something. She just want to make sure she has some of that rest of that 50 something to have any kind of pool. That's how I'm looking at her.
Oh, well, she's not going to win South Carolina either, and here's why. It's because I think it was her second term as governor down here is when she removed that rebel flag. Now, that's an important thing in the South, right? So with Nikki Haley running for president in the South, and she's the fucking governor that took that damn stance and removed that fucking rebel flag off of the Capitol grounds, these white people gonna lose their damn mind for that damn rebel flag. Now, Nikki Haley can say whatever the hell she want to say about the rebel flag, about, you know, America not being a racist country, but she took that damn flag from the Capitol grounds because it's a racist fucking symbol. So she's a hypocrite already. Whenever she said that in her campaign speech the other day, I was like, this lady is nuts. She don't recognize that we've seen her take that rebel flag down. When she said this shit, this is what she said. Hold on.
Take it from me, the first minority female governor in history. America is not a racist country.
That bullshit there ain't gonna fly with these rednecks down here. We seen her take the damn rebel flag down, and these motherfuckers don't like fucking that her husband wears a turban, her whole family wears turbans.
Like the Sikhs.
No, that shit ain't gonna fly. So she can do all these rounds that she want to, but you know, America is racist, and she's not one of us supposedly, or not one of them supposedly American. Even though she was born here, according to these people, she's not one of them. And you know, I don't know how the hell she got the governor, but you know, I guess it was politics and money that got her up in there. And she can pretend to be Christian if she want to, but there's plenty of pictures on the internet of Nikki Haley wearing that fucking head scarf and all that kind of bullshit.
That shit that Nick Cannon be wearing.
Yeah, there's plenty of pictures out there of her doing that. But we'll see. Maybe she's got the skills. Miss Elisa, welcome to the show. How you doing, sis?
Hi, Tyrone. How you doing? How's everyone doing this evening?
All right. You got anything to put out?
I was surprised that Nikki Haley even won the governorship in South Carolina. How long does your governor serve? Is it like in Virginia? It's just one term. Is it y'all have 2 terms there? So she didn't win her re-election, correct? Or she didn't run? I don't even remember.
Well, no, I think it's 2 terms down here. She served 2 terms.
Oh, she did serve her full 2 terms. I was surprised that they voted for Nikki Haley in the first place, because I'm not talking about you, but South Carolina is a very ignorant state, and you know that. And them rednecks and them crazy people and a lot of the black people ain't got much sense either. But the black people get drowned out by the white folks and the rednecks. So I was really surprised that she even won that governorship there. I really was. But she's not going to do anything in the presidential election, because once Donald Trump starts smearing her, and then people start putting out pictures of, like you said, if her husband is wearing turbans and all has worn turbans, child, they're going to crucify her. I don't understand why she's even bothering to run. Well, I do understand why she's running. But she's not going to do anything in the election. I think Donald Trump will probably get the nomination, and then we're in trouble all over again, because Joe Biden really needs to go play golf. And I just don't know what it's going to look like, unless something just awful come out on Trump between now and then. So, because I don't know, because he's going to tear up Ron DeSantis too bad. So, I don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to be a mess.
Well, I don't think Donald Trump is going to. Well, he may get it. I don't know if the country can palate Donald Trump again. I don't see that. And all of these investigations don't seem to be hurting him, even though he's guilty of everything. And they've proven it. As a matter of fact, the Georgia court just made a decision down there that they released some of the grand jury information, but they held the name of the people that were going to be indicted. And they said that they held those names because it was possibly that the president name was in that bunch. So
I'm sure it was.
If he gets charged with a felony, he can't even run no more.
So if he gets indicted on that,
no, he can be charged.
If he's charged,
you can't be charged. Right? Yeah,
charged. But if he gets,
I'll look it up. But I'm pretty sure you can't be charged with a crime.
But we'll have to see. But it depends on how things go. I do fear for the district attorney, those people there in Georgia, because it's redneck and stuff out here. And if they think it's a chance that that their daddy can't run, I don't know I don't know how they're going to react. But if he does continue to run, if DeSantis doesn't get into the race, I think DeSantis is scared to really try to tackle, because Donald Trump goes extremely low. So we don't know what it's going to be on the Republican side. But I just don't want Biden to run again. I really don't. I didn't want him to run first time, but I do not want Joe Biden. But I think Joe Biden can beat Trump, but Joe Biden wouldn't be able to beat DeSantis. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. But I just hope that I just don't want Joe Biden to run again. I really don't.
Well, I don't want him to run either. And I can't take away from his success because he has been doing some stuff, but it just needs some new blood up there. You know, it's just, I don't know. It seems like he has problems talking and walking and just living. He just looks extremely old. And when he's talking, it seems like he's in pain to be able to get it out, because he's so, I don't know. How old is Joe Biden?
He should be at the senior center. Let's be honest, right? Okay. He should be at the senior center. But Donald Trump should be in the sane asylum. So which one we going to take?
Let me see. How old is he? Hey, Siri. How old is Joe Biden?
He's going to be 80. He's going to be 80 or something. Is he 80?
He's 80. He's already 80. And I know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I know.
Come on, think about it again. He should be in a senior center, but Donald Trump should be in a sane asylum. So which one?
They got some money, but his family has some money. He needs to be home, because I know some 80-year-olds, like in the family and stuff, and they don't look and is old and is barely can go like Joe Biden. But remember, Joe Biden is a white man. And white men tend, when they get to aging, they tend to age faster than anybody else. So I mean, he's just so old looking, and you know, it's just like it looks like it's painful for him to talk, and you know, I just don't want him to. I just don't think he need to be running for president. He's too old. If he was to win, he'd be 80. No. If he was to win, how many more years he got? Like almost 2? He'd be like 80.
2 more years. Yeah.
So that.
Yeah, I mean that'll be an old president. That'll be an old president.
Is he in better shape than Ronald Reagan? Is he in better shape than Ronald Reagan was?
Well, no, Ronald Reagan had Alzheimer's or something.
Right.
So Ronald Reagan got sick while he was in office.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan looked like he was physically, he looked better than Joe
But
Biden.
his
Because he
brain
had
was
Alzheimer's.
fried.
Yeah.
But not at the end. Not at the end. He didn't. Ronald Reagan looked sick at the end.
Yeah, at the end, he did. He looked pretty bad. They
Yeah.
was keeping him out of the public eye. And, you know, it's just, Joe Biden should not be running for president again. He's too old. He's too old.
Yeah, and it
He's
looks
not
like
a guy.
it looks like Trump has to be convicted, Elisa, instead of just charged. So he has to be convicted, charged and convicted. Yeah, yeah.
So, and if he gets the nomination, Joe Biden's so old, he might, I don't know what it's going to be. This country cannot stand 4 more years of Trump. How old is Donald Trump? Because he ain't no...
78.
Hey, Sid, I don't know. How old is Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is 76 years old.
76. He's too old.
Yeah, both of them need to go somewhere. And so you know Donald Trump
They're
is
both
dying
gonna
in
go
hell
somewhere.
because
Listen, they're going somewhere very soon. Chill out. They're going to sleep soon.
Let me see. Donald Trump is 76. Let me see. He might have a birthday this year. Let me look.
It's just that Joe Biden looks like he needs a walker or he needs a cane, right?
Yeah. Donald Trump is 76 in June.
And I hope Mike Pence don't run.
Oh, man. Pence
Donald
is looking crazy.
Pence ain't going to win nothing. Donald Trump will be 77 in June. So it's just like, you know.
If cholesterol don't take him out.
Well, we have to see, because I know some of the people way up in the Republican Party, that's what they hoping, what Jay is saying, they hoping that happens, because that seems like the only way that they feel as though they can just be rid of him, because the people love him so. So
yeah, but they're scared to go up against him because Donald Trump ain't got no break. Donald Trump is the biggest internet troll there is, and he don't care about exposing any of them people. He don't give a crap.
And think about it. Is it because of the entertainment? Is it that people love him because that he's entertaining these people by being loud and crazy and the rebellion? I mean,
well, that
30%, right? Part of it.
That 30% of that's solid in his base. That's just racist America. Now these politicians that support him, they fear him. They literally fear that man.
I think they fear the base. They don't fear him. They fear the base that they want to help them win.
I'm gonna give you an example. Ted Cruz fear Donald Trump because there's no reason for he feared Donald Trump because Donald Trump knows something about that man. Lindsey Graham.
Oh, okay.
He fears Donald Trump.
Yeah, some other stuff there.
Yeah. They fear Donald Trump. Bill Barr, Rudy Giuliani, those guys are scared of Donald Trump for some reason. And I don't know what it is.
They all been to Epstein's house probably together.
So they got something going on.
DeSantis is scared of him too. DeSantis is scared of him as well. The only one who doesn't seem like he's too afraid of him, what's the one that he called? I can't think of his name. He called him the Old Crow from Kentucky.
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. He's like the only one that he's leery of. He's very careful with him. But Mitch seems like the only one that's not. Oh, he's not afraid of him. And the one from what's his name? The one that ran against Obama, Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney.
They still gonna vote for him. Be the candidate.
Yeah, but men be playing softball.
But they scared of what happened to Liz Cheney and Kissinger. They're scared of losing their positions because that base turn on them, and then Donald Trump start demonizing them, and they lose their power.
So one man is more powerful than a bunch of people in a party, is what we're saying, right? Think about that. One man is more powerful than the whole party.
I got to be honest. I can't stand Donald Trump, but I got to give him credit where credit is due. He knows what the hell he's doing when he's controlling these people. He took over a whole political party. He just did.
Yeah.
And he's running that motherfucker. So
you gotta understand the mind of a grifter to really understand what Donald Trump is doing. First of all, he's been grifting his whole fucking life. So that tells you something. Where he's had millions of dollars and then goes around the truly rich people and they don't respect him, you know, because they know how he getting his money. He bilking people out of the money instead of being like, you know, Pillsbury rich. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that you got to look at when you're talking about Donald Trump is he has a certain amount of angst towards these people, these born with a silver spoon in their mouth, you know, rich ass nigga, even though he was born that way, but you got, you know, the way they got their money was frowned upon. So he's always been trying to show them people up. And he's finally got that. He's finally relevant to these racist motherfuckers. He's never given that shit up. He's always wanted to be relevant. Well, goddamn it, he is with them people. Maybe not with nobody else. And you got to understand that, like I said, the mind of a grifter is to grift until you die. It's to grift until the very last dollar is made. So he's gonna build this little 20% of America to the last nickel. So that means they end with everything. If you talk to these people that support Donald Trump, I mean, there is no other. He's the man. He can do no wrong, and all that kind of stuff. These people really believe in this guy. He getting the McDonald's treatment, Tyrone. There's some people that no matter what the fuck a person says about McDonald's, they going to McDonald's. That's where they go.
I think he uses his celebrity, and then you know, these people that are following him now, as far as even the politicians, is also because of his power or base that he has. You know what I'm saying?
It's under duress.
But listen, it shows you that they're ignorant, right? Because if you look at, just take Giuliani. Giuliani followed that man off a cliff, and that man lost his law license. He lost his reputation. He lost everything that he worked for. Giuliani followed that man to the last, and I don't know why these people. I don't know why they do that. That's just crazy.
So would it take him losing more people and him losing this? Let's say he gets the nomination, but then he loses and Joe Biden runs, and he loses to Joe Biden, and now he loses another chunk of his base that are like, I'm not dealing with him. He's a loser, right? So he already lost now. Do you see this disappearing? Do you see these politicians walking away like they are now, little by little?
Listen to what I'm saying. And I always use this example. There's always been that group of people that believe in Bigfoot, aliens, and all that kind of stuff, right? What Donald Trump did was he turned those people to be politically interested. Now, normally those people would live in the backwoods. They wouldn't even show up at the polls. You know, they didn't even care. There was a great portion of America that won't even voting. But now those ignorant people, like ABC, is carrying his dumb ass to the polls and supporting somebody in politics. And you ain't going to get rid of that Bigfoot hunting motherfucker. You just ain't. That QAnon crowd, that crowd there wasn't into politics. They was always into 9/11 conspiracies, chemtrails, and, you know, vaccines or whatever. But now these people are politically motivated, and they're going to the polls, and they're showing up at his rallies, and they ain't going no damn well.
I think they're going to burn
because
out.
They believe John F. Kennedy is alive and all that kind of dumb shit. That's what these people believe.
I think like Memento. I think the momentum and all that is gonna die out at some point. Like I'm saying, you could look.
I don't know, Jay. It's an industry, bro. It's an industry. There's an industry out there, making big money off these people.
No, I'm talking about him. I don't think. I think this is his last joy. He's not gonna go anywhere. He's not going anywhere in the sense of he's not gonna be the president. I don't see it. It's just
now the only way the only way that he's a big breaking his support is if these evangelicals somehow or another get disenfranchised with Donald Trump. I mean, they are a little bit, because I heard Billy Graham and all them kind of people, but that's just not the most of them people. But if these evangelicals somehow or another get disenfranchised with Donald, that's going to take away a lot of them, but it ain't going to take away them all.
Yeah, I think this is the last. I think we seeing the dismantling of his situation. Maybe he don't go to jail, but he's going to lose a lot of money. A lot of people. I don't think he's going to have the money and the support that he had the first round. Second round, he didn't have it. Third round is a loss.
You're right. But he's going to disrupt that damn party.
Oh,
and
yeah. He's causing mayhem already. I mean, he's caused mayhem before, but I'm saying like this round, he's going to stir. He's going to mess all these people up. I think, he's going to make it easier for the Democrats actually to win, like a Biden to win. I think that they just handed over a perfect plate to the Democrats because the inner fighting, the nominees, they're not going nowhere, man.
Well, see, the political platform now is to be openly racist. If you're being openly racist, because they're using that CRT, they're using that woke thing, they're using all that kind of stuff, and whenever you hear somebody speaking against black people, speaking against the criminal nature of black people and all that kind of stuff, they're being racist. And we know it ain't dog whistle no more. Hell, it's a fucking bullhorn to me. But you can see that they're being racist, and you know that this country has a lot of fucking racists because they support the party, but they lie and say, no, I like his policy. No, you don't. What the fuck what the woke mean? If you tell me what woke means, you're a racist piece of shit. If you tell me why you oppose the CRT, you're a racist piece of shit. If you tell me you support Ron DeSantis taking out that high school class for African Americans, you're a racist piece of shit. You just are. And they find ways to justify that shit, and they think people are stupid. Well, I guess I don't know. It seems like the mainstream media is stupid because they don't really call it out for racism. Yeah, they really don't.
They don't call it out. But I do think Trump is going to get the nomination, but he's going to destroy the party. He's going to destroy the nomination, but he's going to destroy the party. I'm pretty sure because it becomes more outrageous as the campaign goes on, because I mean, he's just saying anything now. And like you said, some of the evangelical leaders, they've left him. Because Pat Robertson, when he called him a liar, and he said he just lied, he just lies off any little thing. He just lies, So when you have somebody, and Pat Robertson, even though he's an old crow,
he got power.
He still wields a lot of power in that evangelical community. So he's going to destroy the party. That's what's probably in their best bet to try to get rid of him and get Ron DeSantis or something. No, if the Republican Party was smart, they would try to get rid of Trump. Forget about Ron DeSantis if they want the White House. And I'm not just saying this because he was
Larry Hogan.
That's who they need to get in behind, because Republicans is going to vote Republican. And Larry Hogan could beat Joe Biden. He really could. Because more Democrats...
Democrats I don't think the Republicans going to get behind Hogan.
They're
Republicans.
They're not. But I'm just saying, if they were smart, that's the way they would take the party, and they would get the White House back. Because you would have a horde of Democrats would I would vote for him for president. You'd have a horde of Democrats. If Larry Hogan ran for president, it probably would be the first time that the state of Maryland was red. I'm telling you, if they want the White House, that's the way to go. But they too stuck on his rhino and all the mean things he said about Trump when Trump was in office and the fighting they used to do. The party would not, but see that you can't get them to get on some act right. They want the White House, or if not him, someone like him that Democrats will vote for. But they too stupid to do that. They go with these people so off Santas, and they still let Trump have his way. They're just going to destroy their own party.
Now, who's this unknown call I just opened?
I ain't going to be unknown for long.
What's happening, Sarge?
What's going on? Hey, man, look here. Now, I had to step out for a while, so I probably missed everything you said about it. I know you mentioned something about what these proposed grand jury findings, haven't you? Have you spoken to that yet?
Just a little bit.
Oh, just a little bit. You didn't say anything about the likelihood of pending charges against people who may have lied to the grand jury?
Well, listen, I believe in waiting for all the information to come out, you know, and I do. So I'm just giving them time to do their process, and then when the actual names come out and I see the names, then I can say the names, you know, who's going to get indicted and stuff. So
I'm sure that you were particularly hyped to learn that the grand jury has said, according to the reports, it found no evidence of widespread voter fraud in Georgia. I mean, you didn't notice that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, and that should make you guys have pause from what y'all been pushing.
Yeah, and that, of course, is a conclusive finding for you, isn't it?
It's a grand jury, Sarge.
No, but their mission was not to investigate widespread voter fraud in Georgia. Their job was narrowly to investigate whether or not there was unlawful influence with the election in Georgia, not to investigate allegations of voter fraud. So clearly, they didn't have a mandate to do that. So you got to ask yourself.
Hold on. Sorry, I can't talk over you. So I'm going to put you on mute for a second. You're absolutely right. That was not their mission, right? But the people that got charged and accused in Georgia was saying that the reason that they was doing it because of their concern for widespread voter fraud. So the grand jury determined that wasn't the case. Now, you can argue however you want to, but because that was their mission for committing voter fraud, they said that they was concerned about widespread voter fraud, the grand jury was supposed to look into it, and they didn't find no widespread voter fraud.
What are supposed to do? I know how grand juries work. They are given a job to investigate something. That was a peripheral issue to the main issue of whether or not individuals unlawfully interfered in the Georgia election. It was not an in-depth investigation into whether or not there was widespread voter fraud in Georgia. As far as I'm concerned, their statement is meaningless one way or the other.
So do you think that there was widespread voter fraud?
Of course I do. And I can prove it by one thing. Now, this isn't necessarily voter fraud, but it certainly is election irregularity, and you almost never speak to it whenever I raise it. I mean, you don't even respond to it. That is the fact that the Secretary of State and the governor changed election law without the Georgia legislature signing on to it. That is unconstitutional under the Georgia Constitution and the United States Constitution. It is an election irregularity that might have altered the outcome of the election. Now, that's not even getting into voter fraud yet, and you won't even speak to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to speak to it.
I know you're not. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. You don't want to speak to it.
Go ahead, Lisa.
But Trump called into Georgia and asked them to sign votes.
That's not what he did. I got the transcript right in front of me. He didn't do that.
What did he do?
I don't know. I mean, look, that's why if they're going to indict the man, I hope they do. Because Discovery is going to be a bitch.
Oh, God.
I hope they do indict him. They're going to see, it's like you just said something that the transcript doesn't show.
No, Sarge, Is Sarge prophesying again?
Okay, again, I hope they indict him now, because I'm getting tired of these lies. Let's put people under oath and see what the truth is. Instead of all this back and forth speculating, oh, he said this. Well, let's see if he did or not. Get people under oath. Let's get the documents out there. That's what a court. That's what a trial is for. And a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. There's no opposing attorneys. There's only the state's attorney and the prosecutors.
Sir, Trump phone call was a violation of the law. So I don't know.
Okay, what law, sir? Be specific now. You said it was a violation of law, and laws are written down in a statute book. Tell me what law he violated and how.
Oh, it was some type of election law that he violated.
Okay, some type. Okay, good. Hey, there, I'll take your legal advice for what it's worth. Some type.
Okay, but I'm just there. That's the reason that they're in court, Sarge. I mean, fuck, they're having a whole fucking trial for it. What the fuck are you talking about? It was illegal. Hold on, let me say this right here.
Your thing doesn't make it any more than my thing does not make it legal.
Okay, so
what is the violation of the law?
Shut up. Let me get about a minute. Listen, the reason, guys, that they're having that trial in Georgia is because of that phone call.
Not a trial, grand jury.
Okay,
special grand jury.
Okay, well, I can't say what the hell I'm saying, but go ahead.
A special grand jury doesn't even have the authority to indict. They issue a recommendation to the state's attorney. The state's attorney then looks at their recommendations and decides whether to indict. A normal grand jury has the authority to indict.
Okay, so let me ask you, why are they having that trial?
It's not a trial. What did you just say? It's not a trial. It is a grand jury. A grand jury is not a trial. I'm going to have a trial when only one side is presented. It's to determine probable cause. In this case, probable cause for a recommendation to the state's attorney, Fannie Willis. Normally, a grand jury indicts on its own. This one doesn't even have the authority to indict.
Why are they having that proceeding?
Because they have another kangaroo court, like they did with January 6th. The January 6th committee acted like a grand jury, and this woman, Fannie Willis, convened this special grand jury for a recommendation as to whether or not to indict people for interfering in the election.
So you're not going to pay attention to the real reason that they're having that proceeding?
No, I want you to tell me what it is. I just told you what I think it is. Now, what you tell me, what do you think it is?
Well, part of the reason is because Lindsey Graham called down there and tried to tell them to count dead voters or find dead voters. And another part of the reason is because Donald Trump is caught on audio telling that person to find so many votes. That's part of the reason that they having that proceeding, sir.
So you're saying that Lindsey Graham may be guilty of a crime. Now, what did Donald Trump do that might be guilty of a crime?
The damn phone call, Sarge. I know you ain't stupid now. Come on, man.
All right, I'm looking at the transcript, and I'll tell you what he said. I'm looking at the transcript, all right?
Okay.
So it's not like I'm speculating and making up like you are. This is what he said.
Okay.
Another tremendous number. We're going to have an accurate number of the next 2 days with certified accountants. But an accurate number, it's in the 50s of thousands. And that's people that went to vote and they were told they can't vote because they've already been voted for. And it's a very sad thing. They walked out complaining, but the number's large. We'll have it for you. But it's much more than the number of 11,779. That's the current margin is only 11,779. Brad, I think you agree with that, right? That's something I think everyone, at least that's a number that everyone agrees on. Then he goes on to say, but that's the difference in the votes. But we've had hundreds of thousands of ballots that were able to will get you a pretty accurate number. You don't need much of a number because the number that in theory I lost by, the margin would be 11,779. But you also have substantial numbers of people, thousands and thousands who went to the voting place on November 3rd, were told they couldn't vote because the ballot had been put on their name. And you know that's very, very, very sad. He didn't do what these people say he did. Now he goes on to say, he talks about the margin that was lost by this 11,779 figure. And then he goes on to say about dead people and fake ballots. And then he says that we're going to find these numbers of votes, that they're actually going to find that these number of votes were illegally cast or not counted. That is not the same thing as saying find votes that were not cast legally.
Okay, you're missing out the part where he actually says, I need this specific number. Find me this. He said, I need, wait a minute, let me finish. I need this specific number, one more than I need to win. That was his quote that you're skipping over. So why are you skipping over that?
Okay. Again, saying I need the ballots, which is a factual statement, that's what he needs to win, is not the same saying I need you to find illegal ballots for me. That is soliciting someone to commit election fraud. If he said anything like that,
Sarge, what the fuck?
But he didn't.
What he did.
No, he didn't.
He actually told the Secretary of State that he could report that they need to recalculate the votes and then give him 11,780, which gives him one more than what he passed the threshold. That will make him win. You need to actually go back and listen to the words he says. Put the transcript down, because you obviously cannot discern what's in there.
I got that part. Here's what he said. Let's just quote what he said. And you are going to find that they are, which is totally illegal. It is more illegal for you than it is for them because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. And you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. And that's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard. And they're removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines. And you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. You know, I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have because we won the state. He wants to find them because he believes there are votes that have been illegally cast and votes that should have been counted that weren't.
See, once again, Sarge, you don't get the context of the conversation. Hey, Tyrone, can I say this real quick? You don't get the context in which he's meaning any of this conversation through the transcript. Because you don't hear inferences. You don't. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. You cannot tell what a person's inference is by the change of tone and their voice by reading the words. You actually have to go and listen to in the context in which he is speaking. And that's the reason why you're disingenuous, Sarge. You want to just go to the transcript. You want to stop and fight from listening to him say it himself.
All right, well, I'd like to hear the recording then out in open court, and let's hear what a jury would think about it. I'd be satisfied with that. 12 jurors to say, yeah, you're guilty of it. I'd be happy to have that happen.
Well, Sarge, I mean, you're trying to argue with something with us that the reason that they're having their proceedings down there is because of that event. And the law said it was wrong. And
well, you got to remember now, Donald Trump is not the only one that's suspect here. So you're assuming it's all about Donald Trump. There are other individuals that the microscope too.
Bro,
by the way,
starting a whole other dumbass argument,
I'm even willing to concede that some of them may have done something illegal. I don't think Donald Trump did.
Say what now?
Donald Trump's not the only one under the microscope here. They mentioned individuals. They said some of whom may have perjured themselves.
Yes.
All right, so if they did and they perjured themselves, they perjured themselves.
Okay,
but you're saying that Donald Trump is guilty of election fraud, and I don't see any evidence of it.
Well, I'm not saying only Donald Trump. But listen, what I'm trying to tell you is that the whole damn reason that they're having that proceeding down there is because your party was cheating in the election. That's the whole reason.
you're ignoring the fact that election law was illegally and unconstitutionally changed. You keep ignoring. You haven't even spoken to it yet. I've spoken to everything you asked me about, but you will not answer the charge I made that that any changes to election law must be signed on by the state legislature, not by secretaries of state or governors, even by saying it's an emergency.
Okay, so hold on for a second. I'm going to respond to you right now, but I'm going to have to put you on pause first. The reason that I'm not responding to you, because if what you're saying is true, then that election didn't count. But basically, right? So you're saying that it was a fraudulent election altogether. And the reason I'm not responding to you is because the election is over. The ballots were cast, and it was counted, and it was winners and it was losers. So what you're saying is not true because they counted that election. Whether you think the Secretary of State's supposed to this, that ain't your damn position to actually call them people out like that, Sarge. So I got your mic back open.
Okay, Tyrone, I'm not arguing that the election wasn't certified. It clearly was.
Okay,
it shouldn't have been. That was the whole point behind complaining when the electoral count was going on, like they did in 1876. They convened a commission to look into the election problems. They didn't just say that, okay, we're just going to let the vote go through with all these questions about legitimacy of the electoral count in these states. They actually had a commission, and they hammered it out. They didn't do it this time.
But we agree that
we're trying to make about the certification.
Well,
okay, so
I got a question, Tyrone.
Go ahead.
My question is, who would know more about being Secretary of State? A Secretary of State or Sarge?
Okay, so that's now you're appealing to authority now, and that's the only argument you got?
No, because you're not Fonnie Willis, and it's Fonnie Willis' state.
Okay, yeah. So in other words, so then what problem do you have with Donald Trump? He wouldn't know more about being a president, him or you. You didn't like all the things he did as president. I'm a citizen of the United States.
Well,
I have the right to question any decision by any elected official.
I just want to answer your question about who knows more about being president, me or Donald Trump.
I am a citizen of the United States.
What the fuck are you talking to?
I have the right to question any decision.
You gotta let people answer your question. What kind of sense is that to ask the question and won't let somebody answer it? Who knows?
I have the right to question any official, as do you.
Get your hands off your hips, man. Get your hands off your hips.
Who knows more about being president, me or Donald Trump? Well, considering he didn't win his re-election, I would say me.
Okay, well, that's your opinion, and you're welcome to it. My opinion is that election shouldn't have been certified, and I stand by it.
Which election? The one in Georgia?
The one in Georgia, right. It should have been decertified, or at the very least, they should have done what they did in 1876 when similar questions were raised and a congressional committee was formed, a bipartisan committee, to investigate it.
Okay, so now you don't believe in states' rights no more, right?
So did you hear what I just said? It was done with the state's cooperation. The investigation in 1876, when these similar questions were raised about the validity of a state certification, was done with the cooperation of the electors of the states. And they got together and hammered it out, in a conference. It took them 2 weeks to work it out.
Well, it looks like your electors didn't have no problem.
What I'm trying to say.
Ignore it.
Okay, but what I'm trying to tell you is in this past election, the one that you disagree with, the state came together and they decided how they wanted to conduct their election. So
no, they didn't. There were 100 representatives and senators, all told, between both houses, who objected to the certification of the election, and nothing was done. 100 senators and representatives formally objected to the certification, and the House did not vote on a commission to investigate it, like they did in 1876. Now, the Supreme Court remember that case they closed down, the Brunson case? Guess what, Tyrone? Supreme Court is now reconsidering it again. Now, I'm not saying they're going to take it up. I still think it's a long shot. The fact is, it ain't dead yet.
Okay, so let's see if this is it. Let me see if this is the part. Hold on.
But doesn't Georgia have a Republican?
Let me see what they're saying, Mama.
So that's the story, fellas. Look, we need only 11,000 votes. We have far more than that as it stands now. We'll have more and more. And do you have provisional ballots at all, Brad? Provisional ballots?
Provisional ballots are allowed, by state law.
Sure, but do you have them? I mean, are they counted, or did you just hold them back because they, in other words, how many provisional ballots do you have in the state?
We'll get you that number.
Because most of them are made out to the name Trump, because these are people that were scammed when they came in, and we have thousands of people that have testified or that want to testify. When they came in, they were proudly going to vote on November 3rd, and they were told, I'm sorry, you've already been voted for, you've already voted. The women, men started screaming, no, I proudly voted till November 3rd. They said, I'm sorry, but you already been voted for, and you have a ballot. And these people are beside themselves. So they went out and they filled in a provisional ballot, putting the name Trump on it. And what about that batch of military ballots that came in? And even though I won the military by a lot, it was 100% Trump. 100% Biden. Do you know about that? A large group of ballots came in. I think it was to Fulton County, and they just happened to be 100% for Trump, for Biden, even though Trump won the military by a lot, a tremendous amount. But these ballots were 100% for Biden. And you know about that? A very substantial number came in, all for Biden. Does anybody know about it?
I know about it, but we were never.
Okay, Cleta, wait. I'm not asking you, Cleta, honestly. I'm asking Brad. Do you know about the military ballots that we have confirmed now? Do you know about the military ballots that came in that were 100%? 100% for Biden. Do you know about that?
And I don't know about that. I do know that we have, when military ballots come in, it's not just military. It's also military and overseas citizens. The military part of that does generally go Republican. The overseas citizen part of it generally goes very Democrat.
No, but this was
a mix of them.
Yeah, that's okay. But I got like 78% in the military. These ballots were all for this. They didn't tell me overseas. Could be overseas too, but I get votes overseas too, Ryan. In all fairness. No, they came in. A large batch came in, and it was quote 100% for Biden, and that is criminal. That's criminal. Okay, that's another criminal. That's another of the many criminal events. Many criminal events here. I don't know. Look, Brad, I have to find 12,000 votes, and I have them times a lot, and therefore I won the state. That's before we go to the next step, which is in the process of right now, And I watched you this morning, and you said, well, there was no criminality, but all of this stuff is very dangerous stuff. When you talk about no criminality, I think it's very dangerous for you to say that. I just don't know why you don't want to have the votes counted as they are. Like even you, when you went and did that check, and I was surprised because, I didn't consider the check, and we found a few thousand votes that were against me. I was actually surprised because the way that check was done, all you're doing is recertifying existing votes. And, you were given votes and you just counted them up, and you still found 3,000 that were bad. That was sort of surprising. That came down to 3 or 5, I don't know, a lot, still a lot of votes. But you have to go back to check from past years with respect to signatures. And if you check with Fulton County, you'll have hundreds of thousands because they dumped ballots into Fulton County and the other county next to it. So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. We have that in spades already, or we can keep it going. But that's not fair to the voters of Georgia, because they're going to see what happened. And they're going to see what happened. I mean, I'll take on anybody you want with regard to and her lovely daughter, a very lovely young lady, I'm sure. But I will take on anybody you want. And the minimum, there were 18,000 ballots, but they used them 3 times. So that's, a lot of votes. And that one event, and they were all to Biden, by the way. That's the other thing we didn't say. One thing I forgot to say, which was the most important. Do you know that every single ballot she did went to Biden? You know that, right? Do you know that, by the way, Brad? Every single ballot that she did through the machine at early in the morning went to Biden. Did you know that, Ryan?
That's not accurate, Mr. President.
Huh? What is accurate?
The numbers that we are showing are accurate.
About early in the morning, Ryan, when the woman took when the whole gang took the stuff from under the table, right? Do you know do you know who those ballots? Do you know who they were made out to? Do you know who they were voting for?
No, not specifically.
Did you ever check?
We did what I described to you earlier.
No. Did you ever check the ballots that were scammed by a known political operative balloteer? Did you ever check who those votes were for?
We've looked into that situation that you described.
No, they were 100% for Biden. 100%. There wasn't a Trump vote in the whole group. Why don't you want to find this, Ryan? What's wrong with you? I heard your lawyer is very difficult, actually, but I'm sure you're a good lawyer. You have a nice last name. But I'm just curious, why do you keep fighting this thing? It just doesn't make sense. We're way over the 17,779, right? We're way over that number. And if you took we're over that number by five or six times when you multiply it out times 3. And every single ballot went to Biden. And you didn't know that, but now you know it. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers. For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making them with he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure, because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot. So.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, why do you say that, though? I don't know. I mean, sure, we can play this game with the courts, but why do you say that? First of all, they don't even assign us a judge. But why wouldn't you, hey, Brad, why wouldn't you want to check out, and why wouldn't you want to say, hey, if in fact President Trump is right about that, then he wins the state of Georgia. Just that one incident alone, without going through hundreds of thousands of drop ballots. You just say you stick by, I mean, I've been watching you you don't care about anything. Your numbers are right. But your numbers aren't right. They're really wrong. And they're really wrong, Brad. And I know this phone call's going nowhere other than ultimately, look, ultimately I win, okay? because
Mr. Secretary, Mr.
you guys
President,
are so wrong, and you've treated the population of Georgia so badly. Between you and your governor, who was down at 21, he was down 21 points, and like a schmuck, I endorsed him and he got elected. But I will tell you, he's a disaster, and he'll never. I can't imagine. The people are so angry in Georgia. I can't imagine he's ever getting elected again. I'll tell you that much right now. But why wouldn't you want to find the right answer, Brad, instead of keep saying that the numbers are right? Because those numbers are so wrong.
Mr. Secretary, Mr. President, I mean, one of the things that we have been, Alex can talk about this, we've talked about it, and I don't know whether the information has been conveyed to your office, but I think what the President's saying and what we've been trying to do is to say, look, the court is not acting on our petition. They haven't even assigned a judge. But the people of Georgia and the people of America have a right to know the answers. And you have data and records that we don't have access to. And you keep telling us and making public statements that you've investigated this and, nothing to see here. But we don't know about that. All we know is what you tell us. What I don't understand is why it wouldn't be in everyone's best interest to try to get to the bottom, compare the numbers. If you say, but to try to be able to get to the truth, and that because we don't have any way of confirming what you're telling us. You tell us that you've had an investigation of the State Farm Arena. I don't have any report. I've never seen a report of investigation. I don't know what that is. I've been pretty involved in this. I don't know. And that's just one of like 25 categories. And it doesn't even, and as the President said, we haven't even gotten into the Dominion issue. That's not part of our case. It's not part of, we just didn't feel as though we had any way to be able to develop.
No, we do have a way, but I don't want to get into it because we found a way in other states, later, excuse me, but we don't need it because we're only down 11,000 votes, so we don't even need it.
Right.
I personally think they're corrupt as hell, but we don't need that because all we have to do, Slade, is find 11,000 plus votes. So we don't need that. I'm not looking to shake up the whole world. We won Georgia easily. We won it by hundreds of thousands of votes.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it there. I mean, that was enough corruption, but I mean that's entertaining. It's really
there wasn't
entertaining.
anything in that thing at all.
Okay, goddamn it, I'm gonna talk first. I am gonna talk first, nigga. So let me say this right here. So listen, that was entertaining, guys, and you heard a lot of illegal stuff on that phone call. First of all, the President of the United States and his staff, if that would have been legal, would have had to make that same phone call to all 50 states, which didn't happen. They thought that Georgia could bring them over the line. You heard them constantly using that number over 11,000 votes, 12,000 votes, because they wanted him, and he said it numerous times, to find the votes. Not one time did he say count the ballots. He said find me the votes, and if you don't find any of the votes, you're going to be in trouble. He said what you're doing is criminal. That was a threat from the President of the United States to the state of Georgia to force him to find votes. That's what we just listened to, guys. And then he kept saying, ultimately, I win. You're in Washington. You're not in the state of Georgia. You don't know, and you don't have Georgia's information because each state is responsible for their own goddamn election. So whatever you just read in that half-assed read in that damn transcript, Sarge, this is why I know you're full of shit, and this is why I don't debate you, because you will lie because you didn't read that transcript entirely. You really didn't. We just heard this man break all kind of fucking laws on this goddamn phone call. So Sarge, you can speak, but I mean, goddamn, it's clear to me that this motherfucker wanted to cheat. God damn,
All
that's
right,
why
yeah,
they're in court right now.
because I know it's clear to you because you busting a nut trying to get Donald Trump. You didn't get him on emoluments. You didn't get him on Russia collusion. You didn't get him on the phone call. You didn't get him on the second impeachment. You didn't get with the Mueller report. You're just determined to get him. But you're gonna have blue balls just like a teenage boy on a date that don't get none because this ain't gonna come a cropper too. He didn't say that Raffensperger did anything illegal. He said that was criminal. Whoever did what they did to deny him the votes that he thought he should have had did something criminal. He didn't say it was Raffensperger. Besides, Raffensperger is an elected official for the state of Georgia. He is not in the chain of command of Donald Trump. He doesn't have to do anything Donald Trump suggests or offers. It is up to him to make the decisions as Secretary of State. Donald Trump saying what he says when he legitimately believes he was deprived of an election because of election irregularities and fraud is by no means a criminal inducement, no matter how you try to twist it in a one. I know better, the law knows better, and that's why this woman, Fannie Willis, ain't crazy enough to try to bring an indictment for him based on this transcript that you just read. And by the way, you playing that stuff you just played on that tape shows me every single word is in the transcript I'm looking at. That's why I know he didn't do anything illegal. My transcript is absolutely accurate. Every single word that they said in there is in the transcript.
So let me ask you this question, and just please listen. What does it mean when you hear I have to find 12,000 votes? What does that mean?
It means he has to find the votes that he believes he was illegitimately deprived of. That is clear from reading the transcript in context. I mean, I don't know the only thing about you is you simply exclude everything that doesn't support your narrative. You're missing the part where he says all the votes and he gives specific numbers that he thinks he was illegally deprived of. You act as though
hold on. Now you talked all around my question, so I'm gonna put it in context. The election is over. The votes are counted. At this point on this phone call, Donald Trump lost Georgia. After he has all that information, this is the context. After he know that he lost the state, what does it mean? Find me 12,000 votes, Sarge. Can you answer that now?
He lost the vote because ballots were improperly counted, improperly accounted for, chain of custody was not followed, and that votes that should have been cast for him were given to Biden. That's what he believes. It's clear he's saying that in the tape, and he's saying out of that universe of votes that were either improperly cast or not properly cast for him, he needed to find 12,000 of them, of which he believes there are far more than 12,000. He didn't ask Raffensperger to manufacture votes.
Okay, so hold on. Hey, that's my next question. So listen. My next question, after he said, I have to find 12,000 votes, he asked Brad Raffensperger, why don't you want to find me the votes? So what does he mean when he asks that man, why don't you want me to find the votes? Why don't you want to find me the votes? What does that mean?
After an investigation properly conducted that would reveal the truth about the votes that he actually got. He wants him to investigate it, and he doesn't believe that Raffensperger has done a proper investigation. You keep saying he won. Yes, he had the election was certified wrong. He believes it was an improper certification again, as was done in 1876.
Okay, so hold on. Wait a minute, I ain't done with you yet. Okay, so after the state of Georgia called him and told him that he lost the election, after the state of Georgia did recount after fucking recount and counted them votes down there like a bunch of goddamn times, the president is on the phone saying, I have to find 12,000 votes, and why don't you want to find me 11,000 votes or so? And then he says, even though he lost the state, I ultimately won. Now, what you're listening to, guys, is the president using his power to try to influence that state to change their fucking election. Sarge can twist it however the fuck he want to, but the vote was over. The votes was counted. He had lost. He tried to switch the election by using Georgia. And I'm going to wrap it up with this right here. And that's exactly why Fannie Willis is having this grand jury goddamn hearing down there in Georgia right now, and he drugging all of them motherfuckers, Rudy Giuliani, Lindsey Graham, they ain't gonna call Donald Trump, but all of Donald Trump's fucking goddamn cronies that tried to influence the election in Georgia. That's why she's having that election. Now, Sarge is a dumbass. I told you he was a peasant earlier. And this is what you're listening to is the mentality of a goddamn peasant that's following his fucking goddamn monarchy.
And you notice, blockhead, has the president said, we haven't even gotten into the Dominion issue. That's not part of our case. He didn't even mention Dominion. Dominion wasn't even on his mind with what happened in Georgia. It was about improper vote balloting, improper chain of custody, and violation of Georgia election law. And you seem to ignore that when it's clearly revealed in the transcript that is his concern, no matter how the election was certified. Again, the election being certified was the subject of an examination by a bipartisan congressional commission in 1876. The identical issue was dealt with in that election. And it wasn't here.
Okay. And one more thing that Donald Trump just kept trying to do on the phone after the vote was over, which is hell of illegal, is he kept trying to tell that state to go back and evaluate their fucking vote. Now, what that does is that compromises that voting system in Georgia, even though they did it multiple times. But Donald Trump said reevaluate it in such a way so I win. That is fucking illegal, Sarge. So you need to stop, brother. So you need to stop.
I really like the film where you find things that are illegal. Where the president's the president of the United States. He's not a schmuck like you and me. He's got a responsibility to see the laws of the United States are enforced, and he believes there's been a corrupt United States election. He's got the authority and the obligation to look into it. Now you're acting as though he's not a president or something. He was a president then. He legitimately believed it. I believe he legitimately believed it. And again, I'd like to remind you that Brad Raffensperger is not in his chain of command. Brad Raffensperger has no authority to tell him how to certify an election whatsoever. But he is free to bring to his attention things he probably ought to have been investigating and didn't. He just garbage in, garbage out. If you use the same methods to recertify a bad election that led you to the results of the bad election, it's garbage in and garbage out again.
All right, so shut up. Listen, here's a micro picture of what went on, right? Georgia's usually a red state, right? I think it was red in the election prior to this right here. What happened is Stacey Abrams in Georgia motivated the voters down there so much that they flipped the fucking state blue. This was unbelievable to the majority of Republicans in the country, and especially to Donald Trump, because he assumed that he would win Georgia because it was red the last time. So he couldn't believe it. So because he didn't win Georgia, that was the state that he needed to flip him over or bring him over the goddamn line. He put all kinds of pressure on Georgia to cheat in the goddamn election. Now, so when you talk about voter fraud, when you talk about election fraud, we're watching it being played out in real time right now. So much so that these people are getting held legally liable and accountable for cheating in elections. So whenever they say the election was stolen, it wasn't stolen. It's that their methods didn't work on stealing the election. So they want to accuse other people of doing exactly what they tried to fucking do. They steal elections by gerrymandering. They steal elections by redistricting. They steal elections by voter ID laws. They steal election by closing polls. They steal election by all of these legal methods to disenfranchise voters. They're actually stealing, but it's not working no more. You heard Nikki Haley in her fucking speech for candidacy say that the Republicans lost the last 7 popular votes. Your fucking message ain't working, Sarge. It didn't work in Georgia. This guy's a fucking goddamn criminal, and I hope he go to goddamn jail. But Lindsey Graham and all those people, all those underlings, they're in fucking real legal trouble. They started losing law licenses behind this bullshit. That Donald Trump has been sanctioned in the Hillary Clinton case because that whole Hillary Clinton bullshit. He had to pay, him and his lawyer have to pay $1 million to the goddamn Clinton team for that frivolous goddamn lawsuit. So you're following somebody that don't even know how to play this goddamn game, Sarge. He's losing and he's losing because he's used to winning and cheating, but now that he's not in power and can't yield that fucking power no more, he's gonna fucking lose, Sarge. Just deal with it, man. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay, again, let me tell you something about this. Georgia's got a Republican governor, Republican Secretary of State. I mean, why would they let it happen? Hey, you're forgetting the fact that it was Raffensperger and Kemp who made the illegal deal with Stacey Abrams through the vote crowd to change election laws in violation of the United States Constitution and the Georgia State Constitution. So you're ignoring the fact that they were culpable for making that deal with Stacey Abrams in the first place.
You're
lying. They didn't want to have the
Listen.
issue examined.
Okay, so shut up. Listen, if they was in cahoots with Stacey Abrams, right? Why the fuck did Stacey Abrams lose? Why the fuck was him and Stacey Abrams going at each other on the goddamn? You full of shit. They don't like Stacey Abrams. They don't like her methods. They tried to disenfranchise the voters that Stacey Abrams motivated down there to flip the goddamn state purple. So now you just made up this whole goddamn conspiracy to validate Donald Trump that somehow or another these fucking Republicans was working with fucking Stacey Abrams. That's some bullshit. And you shouldn't even said that dumb shit. That don't even sound right.
Okay,
So
you're not
come
even
again,
listening to
nigga.
me because you prefer not to with your blockhead ass. Let me tell you why they did it that way. Because they were putting pressure on Kemp and Raffensperger about supposedly stealing the election from her when she ran in 2016 or 18 and lost the gubernatorial election. They wanted to get the heat off with all the losses by coming to a corrupt deal with her fat ass. That's why they did what they did. That was just political expedience and lack of guts and cowardice. They don't like Stacey Abrams. They can't stand her. They probably despise her. That's not the issue. They were weak and they gave in. And they didn't want to have the fact that they gave in and they were culpable in that regard to weaken the election laws in Georgia to enable the steal. That's what they did. That's why they didn't want to have the issue examined that closely.
Okay, so hold on. These guys testified before the January 6th committee. Both of those guys, listen, under oath, told us who they voted for. They didn't vote for no goddamn Democrat. They voted for Donald Trump. If Donald Trump would have won, then they would have supported Donald Trump. So you're lying, Sarge. They wanted a Republican to win. They under oath said that I voted for Donald Trump, but you know he did this right here. So you're full of shit because they didn't bend over backwards and kiss his goddamn scrotum like you're doing right now, and they had a little bit of integrity and trying to keep the voting system legit. You're calling them some type of fucking operatives or whatever the fuck whenever it don't go your goddamn way.
Well, all of a sudden now you're so damn trusting of politicians. Since when did this come about? Man, look, any politician, including Kemp and Raffensperger, can be just as corrupt in their dealings as anybody else. At times, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and Donald Trump has been criticizing the hell out of Raffensperger and Kemp. So you know how that works. In politics, there are no permanent enemies nor permanent friends. You better get off these naive assertions of yours because they don't hold water under scrutiny.
Okay, so we're away from the phone call when we heard Donald Trump fucking lie and try to steal the goddamn election and break all kind of goddamn laws, and now you just want to throw insults. But let me let Mama's boy go. Go ahead, Mama's boy.
Well, I was going back to the phone call, and if you listen in the conversation, it was clearly a one-way conversation when it came to voter fraud, because obviously the Secretary of State didn't think any voter fraud was committed in his state, and Trump was obviously saying that it was. And I think that's right there where it started and ended, because there was no meeting of the minds right there. And you can hear the frustration in Donald Trump asking him, why won't you do this, man? What's wrong with you? It's obvious fraud and you don't want to investigate it. And he was actually, you know, letting Trump say whatever he had to say. And then at the end of the day, he said, hey, this is what it is, you know, and we go through courts in this country, you know. So if you want to take it to court, take it to court. We're going to stand on our numbers. And that lets you know he's trying to force the man to do something, that he obviously does not want to do. So, hey, look, the evidence is there all in that phone call. You don't need any more evidence. You see the coercion. He threatens the man, tells him he's doing something illegal when he's not. It's, if you just stick to the phone call, the man is guilty of sin.
He did not say that Ratzenberger did anything illegal. He said it was criminal that 100% of votes went to Joe Biden. He said that's statistically impossible, which it is. He didn't say he did anything criminal. He said it was criminal, whoever did it. He didn't make it a claim, and that's why he said he wanted
You need to go back and listen to the conversation again.
In 2018, shortly after her campaign ended, she led an organization that filed a lawsuit.
We're going to talk about somebody else.
Overhaul the state's election system, arguing that the system then in Georgia in 2019 violated the constitutional rights of voters of color. She had an outfit called Fair Fight Action and another outfit called Care and Action. Fair Fight Action was founded by her. It named the State Board of Elections and the Secretary of State as its defendants, but it was aimed at Kemp, who did not resign from his position as the state chief election officer until 2 days after the election. He was still the Secretary of State. Abrams had a lawsuit on him based on that. All of that was going on. To get that lawsuit dismissed, that's why he agreed to change the election laws so, as she put it, it wouldn't disadvantage voters of color. The whole thing was corrupt. That includes his actions and hers, and Ratzenberger's.
So whenever he said, all I want to do is find 11,000 votes, what are you saying? I don't know how you
because he believes that he had far more than that stolen from him. All he needed to find out of that universe of maybe 100,000 votes was 12,000 to put him over the top. That's what he meant by that. That's clear from the transcript. Now, you don't have to agree with him, but it's clear.
Okay, but hold on. This is what I mean, is that what you're saying is not the way elections work. When you vote for somebody, you cast ballots. Those are physical ballots. Those are the actual numbers that are counted. Whenever people are nominated and elected in this country, we don't find votes so they can win. So I don't know why you're agreeing with the whole idea of just magically finding votes, because in other words, he's not saying find me people who voted for me or find me ballots that went my way. All he wants to do is find votes. So let me see.
The ballots are unsigned. The ballots are corrupt, and they're brand new, and they don't have seals, and there's a whole thing with the ballots, but the ballots are corrupt, and you're going to find that they are, and which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Right. There is what I'm saying. That is not the way the election system works in this goddamn country, Sarge. If you don't say that fucking comment is criminal, I can't even talk to your dumb ass no more. All he want to do is find 11,000 so votes, which is one more than what he needs to win. What the fuck?
Tyrone, he was speaking about signature matching. There is a specific procedure for signature matching to verify the validity of mail-in ballots.
God damn, boy.
That process was not done legally and properly. Do you not understand that? You don't have to agree with the man. That's what he believed.
Okay.
He was not committing criminal election fraud.
Sarge, listen. I want you to listen because he didn't say anything about signature ballots. I want you to pay attention. Donald
Trump all done explained shit, right? That's what he was talking about. Signature matching.
Because you know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one.
Right there. He didn't say ballots. He said votes. Do you understand that, nigga? You don't find votes in this goddamn country after the goddamn election is over. Did you hear that? How you gonna find votes, Sarge?
Am I muted or am I still on here?
No, you're on.
Oh, okay, well, usually you mute. I didn't know. Okay, look, man. At no time did Donald Trump accuse Raffensperger of doing anything criminal. At no time.
Oh, God.
He said what was being done was criminal. He didn't identify a specific person with the criminality, and he said it was Raffensperger's duty to look into the election irregularities and fraud. And he brought it to his attention what he believes were election irregularities and fraud, again, with no authority whatsoever to order him to do so. Because Raffensperger is an elected official of the sovereign state of Georgia, and he don't have to do a damn thing, Trump says. But Trump has every right to call to his attention the things that he thinks are improper or illegal.
What I'm asking you, sir, is how do you find votes? I'm asking you that. Because that's what Trump said. You want to find votes.
Investigating the ones that are cast illegally and fraudulently and determining whether or not they actually belong to Donald Trump, which Raffensperger did not do. He just held a reach out the same way he did the first one. He didn't do an audit.
The ballots already
Trump wanted an audit. He didn't get an audit.
Listen, I believe they recounted Georgia like 7 times, nigga, so stop it. And about 3 times before they had this conversation.
Audit. You don't know what the word audit means, do you?
Oh,
when you go to the IRS and they call you in for an audit, do you say, I filled out my taxes again the same way? When the IRS calls you in for an audit, what do they call you in to do?
Sorry, listen, it doesn't matter. He lost.
I know it doesn't matter because you don't want it to.
Well, he's getting they're getting prosecuted. The crimes have been committed, and what's the state we're at now? They ain't used to debating the fucking vote now because it's done. It's done. I mean, Stacey Abrams lost, right?
Again, sir, right now the Supreme Court is reconsidering a case I never thought they'd reconsider, the Brunson case. I'm amazed that they're actually reconsidering it again. It must have got to them some kind of way because they're looking at it again. They rarely, almost ever, never do that. But they are. So don't be so quick to say it's over. It might be. It probably is, but maybe not.
Okay, well, whatever. You keep holding on to that stupid shit. It's over, Sarge. I don't even know what the hell to tell you. I mean, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking to you about it.
Yeah, because, you expect to bowl me over with your bullshit and you can't do it. I know too much.
Let me ask you this right here.
You better go try to have some weak-minded people.
What do you think about your party's plan to uproot Social Security?
Ain't nobody on the Republican Party with any influence talking about ending or changing Social Security. Nobody. So that's a lie. It's not true.
That is not a lie.
No one is. And when you tell me what these plans are, who's doing it? Some people have said they ought to change the age for eligibility. And that's going nowhere in the Republican caucus.
Okay, so let me say this right here. They're talking about privatizing Social Security, put it on the stock market to deal with the debt ceiling. Now, don't tell me that you so stupid that you ain't been listening to the goddamn news. You are aware of that, right?
They've been talking about that for decades, Tyrone.
So what do you feel
It's
about
gone
it?
nowhere.
Do you
I
agree
remember them talking about it before Obama got elected.
I'm asking you, do you agree with it? It's your party.
I kind of agree with it, yeah, because it's going bankrupt. You want our children who have not been born yet are going to have to pay for this, and they're not even going to get any benefits from it. It's going bankrupt.
Okay, so
when it first started.
Okay, so hold on. Guys, I explained to y'all last week why Social Security will never go bankrupt. Because people are always coming into the damn Social Security program, and they're always paying into it. Whenever you get your little FACA thing taken out or whatever the fuck, you're paying into that fucking Social Security. It will never be bankrupt. What they want to do is privatize it like they fucked up the goddamn public schools so they can try to make money on the market from that system. So they don't need to fuck with Social Security. And that's why they're not going, well, I ain't going to say they won't fuck with it, but because they know the majority of Americans, besides Sergeant, his fucking cult following, don't want to fuck with Social goddamn Security because it's a safety blanket for your hard work. And this dumbass just said that he would jeopardize his fucking retirement pay because of a political goddamn reason. And Sarge, you earned that goddamn money. I'm going to fight for your goddamn Social Security because you deserve it. You don't need to fucking let politics take away that goddamn safety net that this fucking goddamn this government is giving you after you done worked all these goddamn years. You sound like a fucking moron by even having that conversation because of political reason. I don't know where the fuck you at, man.
Tyrone, when Social Security was first instituted, there were 15 workers working and paying into Social Security for every one that was getting it. Now, you know what the ratio is? The ratio is 3 to 1. In the next 10 years, it's going to be 2 to 1. Would you mind telling me who the fuck is going to be paying for this if they don't make a massive change in it? That means somebody like any Ponzi scheme is going to be left holding the bag with nothing in it. I mean, you can't even do math.
Okay, well, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now because shit ain't making no damn sense.
Well, maybe if they stop taking money out of Social Security, you wouldn't have this problem.
Why don't you ask the Democrats? They think, well, the Republicans do it too, but the Democrats do it more than anybody else. They think it's a slush fund to raid whenever they have a personal product. There is no money in the Social Security fund. There's an IOU. Nothing more, nothing less. It's a slush fund for these damn congressional representatives in Congress. They raid it all the time.
Well, I know a large portion of the black community, that's how they survive once they retire off of Social Security. So you just talk so loose and just like it doesn't really even matter when a lot of people are depending upon that when they retire.
And you're ignoring the fact that it's going bankrupt. When it goes bankrupt, or there'll have to be a massive tax increase to pay for it. They're putting illegal aliens on the damn thing. Good God. Please be aware of the current situation, please. This is in 1933.
I am aware of the current situation. And they're putting illegal aliens on Social Security for what? Are you talking about because they can't work? Or what do you mean?
Well, because they're not supposed to, because the law forbids giving anyone who's not a legal resident alien or a United States citizen a Social Security number. It forbids it. But the fact of the matter is that they're doing it in violation of the law. Illegal aliens are getting Social Security numbers. They are doing it illegally. They're getting legal numbers fraudulently, but they are getting Social Security.
So if they're getting a Social Security number so that they can work, so they're illegally getting
it. There's nothing in the law that allows them to get Social Security for any reason.
I didn't finish asking the question. Are they illegally getting Social Security payout, or will later, once they have paid into the system, they'll be illegally getting Social Security?
They are using legal Social Security numbers to get illegal benefits.
To get illegal benefits, or are they using?
But wait a minute. But even if you take away the illegal alien factor, let's forget it. Okay, pretend like it doesn't exist, even though it does, and it's becoming more significant by the day. It's still going to go bankrupt. There's not enough people paying into it to pay the money that are needed coming out.
Okay, Sarge, what is the Social Security cap? Do you know what that is?
Not offhand, no.
Okay, so if you make over $162,000, before that you pay.
I don't hear you. Maybe something dropped out or something, but I don't hear you.
You cut off, Tyrone.
Cut off. Most people who get Social Security do not meet the Social Security cap. So we're still talking about people who need it. As Lisa just said, they don't make $162,000 a year.
I agree with that.
It's a bigger worry than the people that make over $162,000 and don't pay into the system is a bigger worry than illegal aliens having a fucking card. If you're telling the truth. Because they're not going to receive Social Security benefits.
So now you think rich people make up the majority of people going on Social Security, and if they were to pay into it, that would eliminate the fact that it's going bankrupt? Are you serious?
Yes, Sarge. You know how many people in this country make over $162,000?
Please, man, come on.
So you don't care about the people with money not paying into the goddamn system. You complain about the system, but the people making over $162,000 ain't paying into the goddamn system that you complain about.
So you're saying that what percentage of people in the United States make over $160,000 a year? That's
I mean, damn near every member in goddamn Congress almost.
Okay, it's 435 people. You got any more numbers for me?
Yes, the fucking Wall Street goddamn contractors, fucking doctors, fucking lawyers, fucking goddamn.
That tells me who. That doesn't tell me how many.
Everybody up there where Elisa stay at.
That doesn't tell me how many.
There's a lot of goddamn people in this country that don't that stop paying that $162,000, sir.
I mean, it's not going to keep the Social Security system going bankrupt at the rate it's going.
I just found you some revenue.
Into it.
I just found you some revenue, and now you won't argue about it. Man, I ain't got no time for this shit. I mean,
I swear to God, man, you love to play class warfare instead of looking at math.
You trying to protect the goddamn class.
That's 6% of all the workers in this country. 6%
Okay, whatever.
94% of workers don't meet the Social Security gap.
I just wanted to remind you that Social Security was going bankrupt in the Carter administration.
Right. It's always going bankrupt, and it never do.
So let's not worry about it then. Okay, that's good. That's really good policy.
It's a talking
point. It was going bankrupt before us, but now we ain't got to worry about it. Even though it's gotten worse.
Sorry, just use your goddamn brain. Listen, you got new people coming into the workforce every motherfucking day. Every day. I don't give a fuck however long we've been here and how long we're going to be. You got new people paying into the system. Now watch this right here. You got a lot of people that die before they reach that goddamn age. And those dead people ain't going to receive their benefits. So their money is just sitting there. So you need to fucking... I don't even know where the fuck your head is at. I don't get it. Hey, look, Miss Elisa, thank you for...
I love your public policy edition.
Shut up, nigga. It's 12 o'clock, so Miss Elisa, thank you. And I'm going to open everybody's goddamn line so they can talk. So, Sarge, you can go ahead. I just want to say that. Go ahead.
And I just love your public policy description.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
That's why you sound like a Democrat. So help me God.
You sound like a cult following goddamn Trump supporter. So, there.
Just gonna die now so you can give a benefit to somebody else because we're going bankrupt. Oh, God.
Sorry, let me ask you this. Were you one of them people sitting outside with your rifle pointing in the air at the balloons?
No, because my rifle does not have a maximum effective range of 60,000 feet vertically. So it would have been futile. I'm not stupid like you. Wow. You seem to think guns are death razors.
That was your party.
You seem to think guns are death rays or something.
The guns, we need to get rid of them. Actually, we need to do something about.
Oh, we need to get rid of them now, do we? How about this guy did this mass shooting? The Democrats had this motherfucker under lock and key, had him for carrying an illegal gun. This goddamn stupid George Soros demon rat prosecutor in Michigan, this Carol Seaman, she up here drops the charges to a misdemeanor, then gives the guy probation. He's off after a year, so he went and legally purchased a gun when a felony would have disallowed him from buying it.
Okay, so listen, I agree with everything you just said, but it's strange that this mass shooter is black and you got all this fucking vitriol, but you don't say a goddamn thing when the mass shooters are white. You fucking goddamn black racist.
They had this motherfucker under lock and key and let him go because she said we're doing it because of racial equity. That was the policy of her office. You know, gun crimes disproportionately affect people of color, so we're going to not prosecute them. That's what she said in an official statement.
He wasn't bitching about that Florida shooter who had the exact same fucking thing happen.
Damn it! I'm bitching now.
You guys a problem. Do you really hate yourself that much? Like, really?
Motherfucker, you hate yourself. You like to see black people dead instead of doing something about it.
Oh, God.
You rather let these fucking criminals run
Hey, Tyrone.
Lock them the fuck up.
So
Tyrone, I just want to remind you, Tyrone, that this is the guy that recited a poem. You remember that?
There was a young thug named Mike Brown who assaulted Officer Wilson with a frown. 6 shots later, he met his creator, and his homies burned down the town. That's a fucking poem. If you don't like it, I'll say it again.
Do you agree with what Ron DeSantis is doing down there with blocking these AP classes?
What?
Do you agree with Ron DeSantis from blocking?
You goddamn Skippy, I do.
Do you agree with whenever the Republicans are taking books that talk about Martin Luther King out of schools?
Okay, and Martin Luther King is part of history. Anybody who does that, taken out of the history books, is not teaching proper history. So no, I would object to that.
Do you agree with them not teaching about slavery and the civil rights?
Again, that is history. That should be taught in the curriculum. What should not be taught in the curriculum is transgender theory, intersectionality, queer theory, the private prison pipeline needing to be abolished. That is ideology and indoctrination. You take all that shit out of that curriculum, which is about 25% of it. The rest of it is sound history. Teach that.
So
leave the other shit out of it because it's a violation of Florida law to teach it.
So you're telling me the prison pipeline is not history?
Did you hear what I just said? You have a problem with waxing your...
Listen, I wasn't talking about transgender, nigga. Now, I'm talking about the prison pipeline, and I wasn't even talking about that until you brought it up, and I'm just curious on your opinion about the prison pipeline. Do you think that's history or not?
It's in the curriculum. It is not a part of black history in the way it is expressed in the curriculum. I read the curriculum. It is ideological indoctrination.
So you're telling me because African Americans occupy the damn prisons in this country?
See, no, you're not listening to what I just said. You just totally ignored it again. I said the manner in which it is expressed in that curriculum is ideology. It's not history.
Did you write the book?
Nigga, I read the fucking book.
Oh, you
read
read
it.
the book.
I got the curriculum. I got a copy of it. You want me to read it to you?
You read the book.
It sounds like it was written by H. Rob Brown or some fucking body.
Okay, well, Sarge, listen, brother. I'm sorry. I know it hurts your feelings, but the prison pipeline is a part of our goddamn history, and it need to be.
Okay, here we go again. See, that's not what the curriculum said. I wish you would read it instead of telling me what he's doing that isn't true. What the curriculum did is violate Florida law, which is voted on by the state legislature, and high schools have always controlled the curriculum that is taught in their schools through legislation. There is nothing new. It isn't book banning.
All right, well, the problem
you can't watch a porno film in there, and that isn't a violation of freedom of expression.
Okay, but the problem is that the other ethnicities and races, when they got their AP courses, he didn't ban those. He was only specific with
Okay,
the African.
what did they get with that was indoctrinational that's being taught in the school with regard to history?
Well, when other cultures,
You talk about Ellis Island, and you talk about the dates and the numbers of people who come into Ellis Island or something like that. How is that being indoctrinated by simply relating the facts?
Okay, so listen, what you're doing is you're talking about stifling the free flow of information, which is censorship. And you're talking about promoting a specific propaganda that goes against everything that this damn country stands for when it comes to being open and learning and free about everything in this damn country. You guys want to propagandize education. You want to indoctrinate children and tell white kids that they should not feel bad about their ancestors. So, I mean, you're pushing propaganda as you say they should X out, even about the transgender stuff. I wasn't even talking about the transgender stuff, but it's a part of our society now. So that people need, it's part of history. I mean, shit, I believe Thomas Jefferson was a fucking...
That's social studies, boss. You don't seem to know the difference.
So it
and I got
doesn't
a copy of Mein Kampf in my library. Tell me something. Should they teach Adolf Hitler's theories on race and nationalism in the school too, and do it approvingly? I mean, that would be censorship not to do it, right?
Well, I mean, ain't Mein Kampf...
I mean, come off it, man. They always make decisions about these things. That is part of what school administrators do.
Is Mein Kampf in the high school libraries? And they shouldn't take it off the shelf if it is. I don't mind about people learning information. Now, it's the way that people gather that information. If they try to take it and implement it, then they need to be dealt with the same way Hitler. If they try to implement it the same, but I mean, for the general knowledge of what Hitler was thinking, if it's the biology of his fucking life, people can read about that era, read about that man, see what he was thinking. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
There are plenty of books about Adolf Hitler in school libraries. There is no curriculum that I know of in any public school in the United States that teaches the ideology of Mein Kampf approvingly. What this thing did was to teach the studies of critical race theory approvingly.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so you're doing this false analogy thing, right? To where you're saying, should they teach Mein Kampf? Mein Kampf for Hitler's Nazis, we don't have Nazis in our high school class, but we do have slave descendants in our high school class. We do have African Americans in our high school class. So whenever you're trying to make this comparison between the fucking Nazis and fucking black kids, that's just fucking stupid because you know you're losing the goddamn argument. You know they're not going to teach goddamn Adolf Hitler's methodology in a goddamn high school class. That would be stupid as fuck, Sarge. But you have little black children in those classes. You have gay children in those classes. And they're trying to speak to the historical way of our country when it comes to those U.S. citizens in those classrooms. Not no goddamn Nazis.
I've heard you repeatedly say that Nazis are everywhere. Nazis are as endemic in the United States as there are leaves on the ground, according to you.
Do you got classification? Do you have a classification? Okay,
having their belief system stifled and censored, according to you.
Okay, this is stupid. I'm not gonna argue this. This is dumb. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
I mean, you don't even listen to yourself sometimes, do you? I do.
You're a goddamn Nazi, but I mean, shit.
I swear to God, man. Like, you say things, you forgot what you said like last week.
Sarge, listen. We know that the American population consists of white, black, Asian, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, you know, that demographic there. There's no fucking Nazis.
Everybody.
Yeah. There's no Nazis in America.
Everybody.
According to you, Nazis are everywhere. In the police department, in the fire department, in the schools, in the teachers. Half the white people in the country, at least according to you, it seems, are racist, and some of them outright Nazis. So they're having
so they shouldn't teach.
So according to you, that means that their belief system is being stifled and censored.
Okay,
according to you.
Well, if you can't see that it's not comparable, then I don't even want to have this
conversation. I definitely see it's not comparable. You're the one that seems to lack that ability.
Okay, well, go ahead, Elisa.
Can I add something? Oh, no, I was going to say, Mein Kampf, the first time I attempted to read that was in high school, and I switched over to something else. But Mein Kampf was in the library at school. I don't know if it's in there now.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the library.
I've already said it's in the library, and it should be.
Yeah,
but it should be taught as a part of history approvingly, like queer theory and intersectionality and all the other things that were in the last 25% of that curriculum, which was disapproved. The other 75% was approved.
So let me ask you this. Do you approve of the Bible being taught at school?
It shouldn't be.
If you're if you are giving a class on comparative religions, of course you have to teach it.
Okay, so you just went against what you was
I
saying.
said history, didn't I? We're talking about history now.
Nigga, there's murder, there's queers, there's rape, there's torture, there's abuse, there's all kinds of shit in the goddamn Bible that your fucking ideology is trying to block out of damn history. So if you are against black history being taught, you should be against the Bible being taught in school, Sarge. That's why I say y'all full of shit.
Again, if there is a class on religion, you have to tell people about the Bible and its essential tenets. For what you just got through saying, rape, murder, brutality, and everything else exists in slavery, instructing about slavery too. But we have to teach that because that is a part of history.
Well, they're blocking
the fact
that part
it
out.
Occurred.
They're blocking that part out.
That it occurred. They don't speak of it approvingly.
And incest, Tyrone, you forgot incest.
Yeah, incest in the Bible.
Homosexuality, everything that's going on now is in the Bible.
Yep.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. Again, a class on comparative religion might include those elements. This is a class on history. It's not a class to indoctrinate you in a particular ideology.
So,
you need to read the curriculum for yourself. You'll probably approve of it, but you should have no doubt it is an attempt to orient the students to a particular ideological manner of thinking.
It's an indoctrination, sorry. That's what the hell y'all for. That's
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, it is. Now you probably would approve of it, so you ought to read it.
Y'all for this authoritarian, tyrannical fucking leadership bullshit. I can't believe you guys have transformed like that, man.
What a guy, man. You act as though the school administrators don't censor all kind of books. They do. That's their job. They're not supposed to let everything in the classroom.
So let me ask
They're
you this.
already doing. Why shouldn't they?
Do you agree with the way the Texas school board books people tried to change the word slavery to migrants?
Wait a minute. I don't know anything about this. Now, we be more specific, please.
Well, they was proposing. I don't know if it went through. Maybe Mama's boy know, but Texas was proposing that the instead of calling slavery, they would say Africans migrated to the country. Would you?
Well, that's pretty stupid.
It is, but that's what Ben Carson.
Stupid.
That's
but
what,
I think that was probably done by some politically correct dummy who wanted to spare black people's self-esteem by making them not seem like they were slaved or enslaved, as they like to say.
Well, you
that
you
sounds
agree,
more like it to me.
You agree with Ben Carson when he said that shit out loud.
Well, okay, now I know you're lying. Well, what do you say that he said? Because I know he didn't say nothing that stupid. He's not a stupid man. What are you claiming that he said?
Ben Carson said slaves were immigrants. He didn't say they were slaves. He said they was
Okay. No, I know what he said. He said that all black people who came to this country were not slaves. There were people from the West Caribbean and other Negroid peoples from around the world who voluntarily immigrated to the United States, along with the slaves who were forcibly imported into the United States.
I gotta find it because he said it.
Yeah, you need to find it because he didn't say anything that's stupid.
Yeah, find it, Tyrone, because he said something about them being immigrants, like you said.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you could say they were involuntary immigrants, I guess.
That's
you
bullshit.
could say that after all. They were involuntary immigrants.
Ain't no damn involuntary immigrants.
That's called slave, Adam. If you're taken prisoner and you're involuntarily immigrated somewhere, you're essentially a slave.
Excuse me, you've been on here talking. Let somebody else come
Now,
on.
well, yeah, but keep it under 10 minutes, will you?
Go ahead,
Why
Renee.
you-
Sarge, calm your ass down.
This man is crazy as hell.
Yeah, I'm not long-winded, though. That's better. I'd rather be short-winded than a gas bag like you. Keep it short, will you?
You haven't stopped talking yet. And this is not your show.
Well, I'm starting the clock now,
Sarge,
so let's
calm
see
down.
how long
Calm-
you're going to be.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm starting a stopwatch.
Start your stopwatch.
But damn, what you start? Anyway, yeah, ain't no damn thing. There's no involuntary immigrants. Get the hell out of here. They were enslaved people. Call a spade a spade. See how it's funny because you'll hear like a lot of these right-wing people and all these people, they're like, facts over feelings, and you know how they call people snowflakes and all of this kind of stuff. But when that history, the facts about the history of America, about what this country has done racially and continues to do racially, then all of a sudden it ain't about facts no more. Facts over feelings, it's about their feelings. That's why the people coming out saying, we don't want, because the whole thing is they don't want to make white children feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll say, we don't want to make black children feel like they can't be anything. What the hell are you talking about? All the things that black people have done in this country are in spite of. We already know the obstacles there. And black children really need to be taught the truth about all of those things. Y'all are the ones, you don't want your white children to feel bad or to feel any guilt or to have real awareness, which they gonna have anyway, of their white privilege within society and how things are done racially in this country. That's what the real deal is. Well, we don't want black children to feel like they're oppressed and the white children are the oppressors. That's the reality of America. Black people are oppressed here. White people are in a much more privileged position racially in this country. Period. That's facts all day long. And the basis of America, yes, is built on chattel slavery, the enslavement of African people in this country. Those are facts. So facts over feelings.
Yeah, you finished? Oh my God, that's a record. It was 3 minutes. I can't believe it. You can't be finished yet. You got any more you want to say?
I think Alicia got something to say, Sarge.
All right, well, look, the problem is that much of this is distortion and it's out of context.
Sorry, shut up. Alicia has something to say.
All right, well, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
As far as calling slaves migrant or immigrant workers.
I was joking. Give me a break. I was making a crack. God, don't take it seriously. I mean, you guys are making a big deal out of Ben Carson saying what he said.
Allow people to stop.
He said that. You just making it up.
Come on, man. Let
you guys are just making up what Ben Carson didn't say that.
How old are you, man? Calm down.
I made a joke. Will you get over it? I made a joke.
Okay, I'm not talking about your joke. I'm not talking about your joke. I was trying to say that has already happened. In Texas, they had to apologize because their school, Tyrone, you probably don't remember some years back, we did a story about that in McGraw, who makes the textbook. They did that. They changed it to migrant workers and immigrant workers.
Yeah.
And the Texas Controversial Social Studies textbook has agreed to change the captions that describes African slaves as immigrant workers after the Houston area mother call. So and it was a couple of other states, because they get their textbooks. Most of the schools get their textbooks from the same publisher. That already happened, and then they said that they were going to issue a pass, because they redo the textbooks. I think every 6-7 years. So they was going to send out pamphlets to put in the textbook to correct what they put in there. Because when the people found out about it, they had Texas, the Department of Education in Texas, somewhere or another in California, and a few other states, they had to apologize for doing that. So that has already happened. They're just trying to do it. They're just trying to do it again and make it permanent this time. So that has happened. So I know, Sarge, you made a joke, but it actually happened, and they're trying to go back to that. So just
all right,
Google
now,
it.
Okay, I don't doubt that happened probably, but I'll bet you dollars of donuts. It was done by somebody, some woke fool who thought they were sparing the self-esteem of black students by not calling them slaves or even enslaved people, but calling them migrants.
Listen,
yeah, I think that's when it was done.
Sorry, they was doing it because they didn't want to, just like Renee said, they didn't want to hurt the feelings of white children. They didn't want to feel some type of way for slavery. They were trying to whitewash goddamn history, Sarge. Stop trying to say somebody woke did it. Here's Ben Carson. So here's what he said.
There were other immigrants who came here in the bottom of slave ships, worked even longer, even harder for less.
Okay, I guess that was it, but I mean, you heard him say it. So he would call them immigrants in the bottom of slave ships. So I just wanted you to hear that. But no, it wasn't no woke people did that in Texas, Sarge. So you need to stop that shit.
Well, we got a lot of people mischaracterizing people these days. They're calling illegal aliens migrants. So, I guess I'll have to give Ben a little bit of error on that.
Do you agree with Ben Carson that there was immigrants in the bottom of slave ships?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
All right, now, but again, we got all kind of people calling illegal aliens migrants instead of what their proper term is, too. And you don't say much about that.
So you might want to, there you go with deflections and what about it? But anyway.
I answered the question, though, unlike you.
Sarge, you got to stop.
I at least answer this question first. No, I don't agree with what Ben Carson said. And then I added something. So I didn't deflect.
You're being very long-winded.
I didn't deflect, unlike you.
You're being long-winded. I'm talking. So what you might want to do is you might want to go ahead and do more research on that, because it was actually the right-wing people and right-wing parents that supported the term slave and all of that not being used, and they were the ones who were coming out who has been against quote-unquote CRT, even though they're using it as some catch-all phrase. And CRT was never even taught in, besides in higher level courses within college. But anywho, but in terms of, school-age children and whatnot, those are the people. It was the right-wing parents. It was the Trumper parents and the Republican parents who were the ones who support trying to take a lot of that out because they don't want white children to feel guilty. Those were the ones saying that. So you really need to read up on what you're talking about before you talk. It was woke people. No, that's not who it was. It was your people.
Yeah. And it was the black parents that wanted slavery and slaves and enslaved put back in the books. And they sent out pamphlets, but like people said, those pamphlets will get lost in those books by the time it's time to reprint them. So it was the black parents that got upset, and the white parents didn't want it in there because they said it hurts their feelings. So I mean, please don't take our word for it. You can Google it.
Okay. I found the story in the Los Angeles Times, printed on October 5th, 2015. The reporter was Michael Schaub, and this is what he reported. Educational publisher McGraw-Hill said it would revise and reprint a geography textbook, notice geography textbook, not history, that refers to African slaves in America as, quote, immigrants, unquote, and, quote, workers, unquote, after a complaint by the mother of a Texas high school freshman. Ronnie Dean Burren of Pearland, Texas, posted on Facebook a picture of a section of the textbook, quote, World Geography, unquote, that her son, Kobe Burren, has sent to her via a text message. The picture shows a graphic about immigration patterns with the text, quote, the Atlantic slave trade between the 1500s and 1800s brought millions of workers from Africa to the southern United States to work on agricultural plantations, unquote. So it's not quite as bad as you said it is, even though it's pretty damn inaccurate.
Sarge, but listen, we was covering it when the proposal was going on and all that kind of stuff because it came out before they actually printed the books. And the proposal was to reword the word slaves and all that kind of stuff. And the story that you just read don't cover the whole situation. So that's just one.
Well, I'm not going to read the whole article. I mean, wouldn't it be Renee or something and speak for 8 minutes? I lied, it was pretty long.
No, but you're just cherry picking.
All right, but look, here's what I'm saying here, man, is that, okay, it's inaccurate. I'm glad they corrected it. But please, what do you want to do? You want to have a civil rights march over it?
You're just cherry picking one story whenever it was.
Cherry picking. You're the one that brought it up.
Listen, nigga, it made national goddamn
Yeah, we
news.
talking about me cherry picking. I'm responding to what you said.
If it was as small as you said, it wouldn't have made fucking national news, you idiot. So the reason that we're talking about it because it was going to affect the rest of the goddamn publications in the country at that education level. So that's the reason that we were talking about it. Oh, hold on. Let me get your line back open. Oh, there you go.
Okay, man. Look, okay. It was an error, like many technical.
It was not no fucking error.
It's been corrected. Now, what do you want to do? Accuse the country of genocide and racism and killing Indians?
I can't.
Okay, it was a problem. They corrected it.
Okay, you just.
What is it? Systemic racism? Institutionalized racism? White supremacy? What is it?
Okay, well,
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you just support these races. You bend over backwards and kiss these racist ass, man. You ain't got no shit.
No. See, now you ain't got no arguments, nigga. You done lost already.
Well, that's what you've been doing.
You really see? I made you realize how foolish you sound, making a big deal out of it.
Sorry.
It was an error. They corrected it.
Oh, sorry.
Whenever they make an error, you ought to speak up.
I don't agree.
Fine. People spoke up.
I don't agree with what you just said. Okay, so don't think. That
I know you don't. You never do. So what? You're still wrong.
You didn't make no fool out of me. I just think that you're an idiot. So there.
Yeah. What else is new? Is the sun gonna come up tomorrow? So what?
Oh. Woo. Renee, you still there? Oh, she must have gone. I was gonna ask her about Mama's Boy. Do you see Tahaka Bay and Tariq Nasheed getting a back and forth?
Nah, man. And you know what? I gotta be honest with you, Tyrone. I learned a long time ago about them niggas. I don't want to see them niggas argue. I don't even care.
No, Tariq Nasheed.
Good. You found some lessons and started trying to figure through. There are some things you shouldn't give a damn about. Now you're learning your lesson. Good.
Well, guess what, Sarge? You sitting right next to Tariq Nasheed and this other nigga he just brought up, because I don't give a fuck about your ass either.
I'm so goddamn glad I would kiss your ass if I was a faggot that you are.
Oh, God. We ain't gonna use that word now, Sarge. Calm down.
All right, man, I know, but this guy, man, you know what he tries to do. Come on. We all know what he tries to do. He hasn't got any arguments, just insults.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm getting sleepy, y'all. So I'm finna hang up. Y'all can have it. YouTube.
Yeah, me too.
YouTube, y'all can call into the number. Why I got Ann Coulter playing?
Yeah, I see that. And Tyrone, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll do some stories because we're missing out on all kind of good, not good stuff, but important stuff. So we'll do some stories next week because we're missing out on a lot of important things that I've been seeing that a lot of people have been missing. So next week we'll be good to go.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
Well,
All right,
guys,
and
I'm gonna tell y'all good night.
Week.
I'm gonna tell y'all good night, and YouTube, y'all can call in if y'all want to. So I'm about to end this one. All right, thank you, Miss Elisa. I'll holler at y'all later.